Chapter 626. While they were eating, Fatty Chu gave Sima Yu a vivid description of their assessment, especially the Spirit Master selection. That was an exciting battle, causing her blood to boil as she listened to it. I see that your strength has increased by 1 level. What's going on? She asked curiously. This is the result of cultivating in the cultivation tower of the inner yard. Wei Ziqi said, every student who enters the inner sect has the right to enter the cultivation pagoda for free. The spiritual energy in the pagoda is even denser than the spirit pagoda, especially the spirit pool in the basement. We soaked in it for a few months and advanced in rank. That's right, other than the spirit pool, we also got a chance to temper our bodies for free. That process made us want to cry for our parents. Fatty Chu said. Body tempering? Sima Yue checked the bodies of Ouyang Fei and the others. Indeed, they were much stronger than before. How did you temper your bodies? I don't know what animal's blood it is, but it smells like blood. We were directly thrown into a pool of blood by the teachers. I don't know what kind of blood it is, but the moment we touched it, we felt as if our bodies were being burned. Sigh, anyway, it was so painful. Fatty Chu complained. Fatty, don't give me that. Out of all of us, you're the happiest one. You're crying out in the blood pool. Bei Gongtang said. I'm happy but it still hurts. Fatty Chu said. Fatty, you're the one with the toughest skin here. If you're complaining in pain, wouldn't the others be even worse? Sima Yue teased. Isn't that so? Someone fainted from the pain. I think it's someone from your alchemy department. Fatty Chu said, it's a pity that you're not here. Otherwise, you could experience it with us. Is the blood pool always open? Sima Yue asked. Sima Yulin said, this blood pool only opens once every 10 years. It only opens when new students enter the inner sect. The rest of the time, it was closed. And it's only for freshmen. In other words, if he missed this opportunity, he would not have another chance in the future. You're already relying on lightning to refine your body. Why are you still thinking about this? Sima Yuran smiled. Hehe, that's true. Sima Yue chuckled. After experiencing crimson flames refine her body twice and being tortured by lightning a few times, her body was already very strong. She was afraid that the average method would be useless. Yu, can you really trigger the lightning tribulation now? Fatty Chu thought of the top-grade purple lightning in her body and felt that it was unbelievable. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. You don't want to give it a try? No. Fatty Chu hurriedly waved his hands. If his small body was struck by lightning, he would probably turn into ashes. Fifth bro, when do you plan to go to the sect? Sima Yuran asked. After a while, I guess. Sima Yue, on Yue, on Yue, on the Sima on Yu. Recently, she had been outside or at the academy. It had been a long time since she had spent time with Sima Lai. Anyway, it's still early for the holidays. I'll stay at home with Grandpa for a while. What do you think, Grandfather? She smiled and asked Sima Lai. Of course, Grandfather is happy that you can stay at home. But Grandfather knows that you're worried about your brother's situation. If you can solve it quickly after entering the inner sect, you should go earlier. Sima Lai said, anyways, we have a lot of time. It's the same to accompany Grandfather in the future. Sima Yue thought about it and agreed. Grandfather's age was nothing in the primordial lands. There was still a long way to go. Then I'll go look for Vice Principal and Teacher Good tomorrow. Sima Yue said, oh right, do you know anything about Senior? We don't know anything about him, but we know about another person in the Sage Pavilion. Wei Ziqi said. Nailin Lan. Sima Yue's hand paused. Then, she continued to put the roasted food on the plate and asked, how do you know about her? Last time, the Sage Pavilion held a gathering of holy sons and daughters in Heavenly City. It seemed that all the holy sons and daughters in the outer regions were gathered. At that time, many people came from the inner regions. Nailin Lan was one of them. Bei Gongtang said. You said before what kind of physique she had. It said that people with this kind of physique have good cultivation talent. In a short 10 years, she advanced from a spirit saint to a divine king. It said that she was only a step away from becoming a divine overlord. Fatty Chu said, I really didn't think that someone like her would have this kind of physique. What a waste. When Sima Yue heard about Nalan Lan, she thought about how she had been tricked by her in the Saint City and almost lost her life. At that time, she had taken care of Li Mu and that array master. It was a pity that when she came out from Dragon Reflection Mountain, Nalan Lan had already been brought to the primordial lands. You saw her? Did she see you? She asked. I don't think so. Wei Ziqi said, at that time, we were in the private room of Memory Restaurant. When they came in from the main hall, we heard her voice. We went to open a crack and peeked outside. Is she still here? She has already returned to the inner regions. The matter with the Sage Pavilion has already ended a month ago. Sima Yulu said. What a pity. Sima Yue said regretfully, if she was here, I could have looked for her to reminisce about the past and tell her about how she tricked me that year. But we're in the same continent, so we'll meet sooner or later. They ate and drank until very late that day. The next morning, Sima Yuming and the others returned to the inner sect. Sima Yue rarely slept in, and went to look for Sima Lai to be lovey-dovey for a while before going to the sect. She first went to look for the vice principal and told him that she was safe before going to look for Ge Lang. When Ge Lang saw her appear, he was a little surprised. Then he said happily, You're finally back. If you didn't come back, that guy would have killed his way to the 9th Star Ocean. Sima Yue knew that guy was definitely Su Jin. Apart from him, Ge Lang would not call anyone else that. Didn't he promise me a year's time? Why is he in such a hurry? Sima Yue asked casually. Didn't he hear that the 9th Star Ocean is not peaceful recently? He's afraid that something will happen to you there. Ge Lang said, but it seems like he's worried for nothing. Sima Yue smiled but did not speak. When do you plan to go to the inner sect? Ge Lang asked. In these 2 days. Sima Yue said, there's nothing much to do here. It's good to go to the inner sect earlier. That's fine too. I'll contact him for you. Ge Lang said, you didn't enter the inner sect with them, so you missed out on a lot of resources. But seeing you like this, you're not worse than those guys. It doesn't matter whether you have those or not. But after a while, there will be 3 great meetings. You can participate. 3 great meetings? What 3 great meetings? Chapter 627. The inner sect's ranking assembly will be held in various forms. The most common one is the Spirit Master Ranking Assembly. Ge Lang explained. Then what's the use of these 3 meetings? Sima Yue asked. This is linked to future cultivation resources. You should know about the inner courtyard billboard by now, right? Ge Lang asked. I know. Fatty and the others already told me about it yesterday. Sima Yue said. The cultivation resources of the inner yard depend on one's talent and strength. The better one's talent and strength are, the more cultivation resources one can obtain. Ge Lang said, although you've chosen the alchemy department, I know that your main focus is still spiritual energy cultivation. Therefore, you should take as many cultivation resources as you can from the inner court. I understand. Sima Yue said, I will attend the 3 conferences. Go back and make some preparations. I'll contact old Su. When he comes back, he'll take you to the inner court, Ge Lang said. Teacher Ge, is Teacher Su very special in the inner court? He actually allowed me to take a break. Sima Yue felt that she could learn more about her future teacher. Don't look at how young he usually pretends to be. He's only a little younger than your master, and he's not much better at alchemy than your master before he was injured. Ge Lang said, Ah. Sima Yue was so surprised that her mouth was slightly agape. That show-off guy was actually similar to her master? Don't be surprised. Although he's old and powerful, he's like a baby who hasn't grown up. He doesn't look like a role model at all. Ge Lang said, Ahem. Sima Yue wanted to laugh when she heard his description. After interacting with him twice, she also found that Su Jin's temperament was a bit different. He was like a dissolute wastrel, but it wasn't as exaggerated as Ge Lang said. Is he special in the inner yard? Yes, according to his strength, he can be the dean of the inner courtyard's alchemist department. However, he refused to do it no matter what. He said that if he was allowed to be the dean, he would leave the academy. There's no other way. We can only follow his wishes. Gulang said, because his alchemy skills are very strong and his personality is perverse, he won't take students he doesn't like and won't attend classes when he doesn't want to. Therefore, Principal Yuan gave him special rights to not be controlled by the alchemy department and to have priority in choosing students. Therefore, although you also belong to the alchemy department, you can also say that you are not. Sima Yue understood Su Jin's position. Thinking of his personality, she asked, then did he teach many students these years? There are still a few. Gulang said, it's just that the temperament of those seniors of yours, you'll know once you enter the inner court. Sima Yue could already imagine that Su Jin's students might be similar to him. Otherwise, how could they enter his eyes? Teacher Go, I'll go back first. She stood up and said, all right. That fellow, I'll first see if he's in the inner court. Gulang said, you go back and wait. Okay, thank you, Mr. Gu. She bowed to Gulang before turning to leave. Towards Gulang, she was both respectful and grateful. She had chosen the medical department by herself without a mentor. Gulang could be considered her mentor. Not only did he teach her medical skills, he also helped her find a way to treat her younger brother. His help and influence to her was enormous. After leaving the academy, she returned home and gave a portion of the things she obtained in the 9th Star Ocean to Sima Lai. These things might only be used to fill the storehouse in the Violet Water clan, but they were very valuable on the land. Sima Yue wanted Sima Lai to change to a bigger courtyard and hire some people to take care of them. However, Sima Lai and the others said that they were already used to this kind of life and no one would find trouble with them. Besides, with the help of Memory Restaurant and Xianyuan Pavilion, no one in Heavenly Sect City would dare to touch them. Seeing that they insisted, she didn't force them. These few days, Gulang didn't give her any news. It should be because Su Jin hadn't returned. She took this opportunity to relax. Every day, she cooked for Sima Lai and the others, chatted with them, went shopping, and patrolled the Memory Restaurant with them. She didn't think about the pressure now, didn't think about the things she hadn't finished yet, and didn't think about the deep hatred from her past life. Her life was so relaxed that it was like a dream. Unfortunately, this kind of comfortable life didn't last for long as it was cut off by that flashy red. Sima Yue saw Su Jin lazily leaning on the armchair and Sima Lai beside him. She suppressed the urge to roll her eyes and went up to greet Su Jin. Teacher Su, why did you come personally? Su Jin saw that Sima Yue's aura had become much stronger and said with a smile, looks like your harvest in the 9th Star Ocean this time wasn't bad. Are you grateful that I gave you a year of vacation? Many thanks for Teacher Su's help. Sima Yue said gratefully. I went out of town these few days and just came back today. Old Gu told me that you're back, so I came. Su Jin said, I'm going to the inner sect now. Come with me. We're leaving now? Sima Yue stared blankly. She looked at the sky and saw that it was almost evening. Of course it's now. Don't tell me you want me to stay for dinner? Su Jin glanced at her. Yue, since your teacher said to go now, then let's go now. Sima Lai said. Then let's go. Sima Yue said to leave and left. Anyway, her things were all in the spirit pagoda, so she didn't need to pack anything. Su Jin directly opened a space tunnel and brought her in. Sima Yue only felt like she was traveling in the space for a few minutes. Logically speaking, she shouldn't have reached the outer sect yet. However, when she came out, she was already in a forest. This is the maze forest. If you walk from here, you'll reach the inner sect. I'll wait for you in the inner sect. Su Jin said and disappeared. Sima Yue looked at the dark forest and couldn't help but twitch the corner of her mouth. This guy hurriedly brought her to the inner sect just to leave her in this damned maze forest in the middle of the night? She looked around and didn't know which direction to go. She simply found a spacious place and started a fire. She called her beasts out to chat and make some food. Stash. A sound came and Little Rock immediately became alert. He wanted to take care of the sneak attacker but was stopped by Sima Yue. Let's see what rank it is. If it's not strong, I haven't fought since I advanced. It's just a third-level sacred beast. Little Rock said. Then I'll take care of it myself. Sima Yue had just kept Little Rock and the others when she saw a huge python attacking her. Sima Yu leaped away from her original position, and the python crashed into the tree that she was leaning on earlier. Chapter 628. That python's attack failed, so it turned around and attacked her again. Sima Yu dodged in the air. So ugly, much uglier than my little golden snake. Sima Yu said. The little golden snake was wrapped around the devil's snare bracelet. When it heard Sima Yu's words, it nodded cooperatively. It was so ugly, much uglier than itself. Such an ugly person should commit suicide to atone for his sins. Also, I hate pythons the most. Sima Yu said again, which made the little golden snake's body stiffen, and then it looked at her with grievance. Sima Yu looked at little golden snake's aggrieved expression and reached out to stroke its little head, saying, Little golden snake is golden snake, not a python, so I don't hate it. The little golden snake stretched out its little head and rubbed against her finger. Only then did it lower its head happily. When the python heard Sima Yu's words, a vicious look flashed across its cold eyes. Its long tail swung towards her in the air. Sima Yue condensed her spiritual energy to counterattack. The two of them were locked in a fierce battle. Sima Yu's combat power was much stronger than it was now, but she had not fully grasped her current strength. She was using the opportunity to slowly familiarize herself with her current strength while fighting the python. The sound of their fight attracted the attention of the people nearby. A group of people were not far away and ran over when they heard the commotion. They happened to see Sima Yue preparing to stab the python with her sword. Stop! Please show mercy! Several people shouted at her. At the same time, one of them attacked her. She had no choice but to change her actions and confront that person. Sima Yue exchanged a few blows with that person before landing far away. When she saw the group of people who had just arrived, she asked coldly, Are these your spiritual beasts? A woman said, Could it be that you don't know that spirit beasts are not allowed to be killed in the maze? If you had stabbed down earlier, I'm afraid you would have to face the Academy's punishment. Is this the Academy's spirit beast? Sima Yue looked at the python that she had beaten up and asked in astonishment. You don't know? The woman who spoke looked at her in surprise. Sima Yue shook her head. No one told me. Did you come here alone? Another man walked over and asked. Sort of. Sima Yue said, Teacher brought me here and then he left, leaving me here. Which teacher is this? How can he be so bold? You actually don't know that this is the Academy's spirit beast? Are you a new student? The girl who spoke first said, That's not right, new students should also know the rules. Rules? What rules? He didn't say anything to me. He just said that this is the maze forest and that I would reach the Academy after passing through here. He told me to pass through here and that he would wait for me at the Academy. Sima Yue said. Which teacher brought you here? Teacher Su. Sima Yue said. Everyone stared at her with their eyes wide open. Teacher Su Jin? That's him. Sima Yue said. At the same time, she added a sentence in her heart. It's that scammer. You are Sima Yue? The woman asked. You know me? This time, it was Sima Yue's turn to be astonished. So you are the one who blinded all the teachers during the assessment and applied for a year's leave before entering the inner courtyard. No wonder you don't know about this. The woman smiled and said, I am Shui Rong, considered your senior. They are also your senior brothers and sisters. Sima Yue. Sima Yue said her name and asked, What are you all doing? What's up with the spirit beasts in the Academy? This is where the Academy usually trains. There are many spirit beasts in this forest. Those who want to improve their abilities can come here to improve their combat experience. But there is a condition, you cannot kill the spirit beasts here. Otherwise, you will be severely punished by the Academy. Shui Rong explained. That scammer. Sima Yue cursed in her heart. Then she smiled and said, Thank you all for just now. If it wasn't for you, I would have broken the rules. No wonder this fella attacked without saying anything. It thought that she was here to train. In the end, she almost killed it and prepared to use its flesh to make soup. Thinking of this, she suddenly felt guilty towards this python. She walked over and took out a pill. She opened the python's mouth and fed it. Then she patted its head and said, "I'm sorry, brother." The python was beaten up by her and was paralyzed on the ground. After eating her pill, it felt much better and its wounds began to heal quickly. At this moment, its heart was crumbling. It had heard the conversation between Sima Yue and Shui Rong. It felt that it had met an idiot. Fortunately, these people had saved him. Sima Yue could feel the resentment in its heart. She coughed twice and said, Do you want me to give you 2 more pills?" Hearing her say this, the python's eyes lit up and said, "Are you serious?" "Of course." Sima Yue took out a jade bottle and said, "Here, you can't argue with me about what happened tonight." "All right." The python took the pill and left without hesitation. "Yue, what kind of pill is this?" Shui Rong walked over and asked. "It's a recovery pill for spirit beasts." Sima Yue replied. "You have pills that spirit beasts can eat?" Shui Rong was a little surprised. Then she smiled and said, "That's right, you're an alchemist. It's not strange that you have these pills." "Rong, since there's nothing else, let's go back to the camp." Ma Bo Jian, the man who stopped Sima Yue, said, "Yue, it's very dangerous for you to be here alone. Why don't you come with us?" Shui Rong said. "Is it very dangerous here?" Sima Yue asked. "There are many spirit beasts here. Some of them are very strong." Shui Rong said, "Even though the spirit beasts won't kill us, they might cripple us if they can't take it. There have been a few cases where people were crippled or killed in the academy. That's why people from the academy usually don't come here alone." Even though Sima Yue felt that she would be fine, she still accepted Shui Rong's invitation and followed them to the camp. Their camp was not far from here. That's why they were able to come over in such a short time. Sima Yue followed them for a while and arrived. "Yue, when did you get here?" Shui Rong asked. "Just a while ago. That guy appeared before I even finished cooking." Sima Yue shrugged. "You still want to eat? Aren't you a spirit master?" A girl looked at Sima Yue as if she was looking at a monster. "It's a personal habit." Sima Yue said, "I've loved good food since I was young. Even if I don't need to eat now, I'll cook when I have time. How about you guys? How long have you been here?" Chapter 629. We've already been here for almost a month. Shui Rong said, "There's a rule in this maze, we can't leave from where we came from. We are now close to an exit and will be leaving in a few days." "There are such rules?" Sima Yue felt that there were quite a lot of rules in the inner courtyard. "That's right. Perhaps this is to prevent us from going back." Shui Rong said. "What do you plan to do next? Why don't you come with us?" "Sure," Sima Yue agreed happily. "My teacher didn't say that I can't go with others." "Yue, did you really ask for leave and didn't come?" A woman in a white fringed dress looked at her curiously. "No, this is my first time in the inner yard." Sima Yue said, "But I didn't expect to meet such a bad teacher who left me here. He didn't even worry that I would be crippled by the spirit beasts here. Although Teacher Su is a bit unreliable, he probably won't leave you in the lurch." Shui Rong said, "Even though his students' tempers are a little weird, they are all very powerful." Cough cough, we're talking about alchemy. To be honest, when we first heard that there was a student who applied for a year's leave before entering the inner court, we were curious which teacher taught him. Later on, when we heard that it was Teacher Su, we didn't find it strange anymore. "Do you think I'm a weirdo too?" Sima Yue said. Shui Rong smiled embarrassedly. "You don't look strange at all." The woman in white smiled. "Furthermore, you're really powerful. That python was a 3rd-level sacred beast, yet you were able to deal with it alone. We can't do it yet." Sima Yue smiled and looked at the silent Ma Bojian, saying, "If I'm not wrong, this should be the Ma Bojian who is ranked 200 on the billboard." When Shui Rong introduced him just now, she only felt that his name sounded familiar. Only now did she remember that Fatty Chu and the others had mentioned this person a few days ago. "Yue, you haven't even entered the inner yard, and you're already trying to gain insight?" My brothers and a few friends have also entered the inner yard. They mentioned it to me a few days ago when they came back. Sima Yue said. Ma Bojian looked at Sima Yue and said, "You're not weaker than me." When he said this, everyone else was stunned. Bojian, you said that Yue is not weaker than you? The woman in white looked at Ma Bojian and then looked at Sima Yue, her eyes filled with shock. Ma Bojian nodded. When he fought with Sima Yue just now, he could clearly feel that she was not weaker than him. She was even a little stronger than him. But wasn't she an alchemist master? The way the others looked at Sima Yue changed. Initially, they thought that she was only good at alchemy, but they didn't expect that she was so strong. However, they subconsciously thought that she relied on alchemy. After all, alchemists didn't lack alchemy, and some alchemy could increase a person's strength. Then Yue, you can participate in the 3 great conventions. You'll definitely get good results. Xuerong said. Yue, do you know about the 3 great conventions? I do. Before I came in, Master Gu told me that he wanted me to participate, but it's up to me whether I want to go or not. I'll decide after I understand the situation in the inner yard. Sima Yue said. If you want to go, we'll go and cheer you on. Xuerong smiled. All right, if I go, I'll definitely tell you guys so that you can cheer me on. Sima Yue smiled and replied. That night, they chatted until late into the night. For the next few days, Sima Yue followed Xuerong and the others. After a few days of getting along with each other, she found that these people were not bad. It was probably because of the saying that birds of a feather flock together. Later on, they had become good friends. Today, they had just experienced a battle. Ma Bojian and Xuerong had defeated a 3rd-level sacred beast. However, both of them had suffered some injuries. They took out some pills and ate them. Then they rested in an empty space. Although they were injured, it did not affect their mood. Xuerong was still a little excited as she shared her battle experience with everyone. I told you that they were the ones fighting. How was it? I wasn't wrong, right? A maniacal laughter came from behind. Sima Yue noticed that Ma Bojian and the others' faces had changed when they heard this voice. Xuerong stood up and turned to look at the group of people walking over. They had about twice as many people as them. She asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" Xuerong, we're already so familiar with each other. What do you think we're doing here? The person who spoke earlier laughed sinisterly. Weren't you guys very proud of stepping on us under your feet? Today, we're sincerely here to reconcile with you guys. Hearing his words, Sima Yue's face was filled with confusion. The others' faces turned ugly. Jiashan, how do you want to reconcile? Ma Bojian looked coldly at the leader. It's very simple. Hand over all the territories that you've snatched from us. Then, kneel on the ground and call us Big Brother 100 times. Jiashan said. That was our territory in the first place. You guys snatched it from us first. We're just taking it back. Shu Yuan, the girl in white said. The things that we've snatched are ours. If you continue to snatch them, wouldn't that be the same as snatching our things? A man with inverted triangle eyes beside Jiashan shouted. Shu Yuan was furious. She wanted to rush up and argue with them, but was held back by Xuerong. Yuan, don't be rash. Although the others were angry, they still restrained themselves. Jiashan, you know that I can't make the decision on my own. Ma Bojian said. You're the second in command of your group. If you can't make the decision, who else can? Jiashan said. As long as you agree, will the others have any other ideas? Even if I agree, the brothers in the group won't agree. How won't agree? Ma Bojian said. As long as you guys agree, we naturally have a way to make them agree. Jiashan said. Boss, don't waste your breath on them. If you ask me, just beat them up. Do you think they won't agree? The inverted triangle eyes said from the side. He looked at Xuerong with a vicious gaze. Last time, he was beaten to the ground by her and was stepped on by her. Just now, he had heard Xuerong's spiritual technique and guessed that they were here. Today, they had more people and were stronger than the other party. He had to return the humiliation he had suffered back to them. Sima Yu finally understood. This should be a conflict between the two teams in the inner sect. The other party didn't look like a good person at a glance, especially that inverted triangular eye. The way he looked at her had a trace of wretchedness, which made her very uncomfortable. Chapter 630. Shui Rong also felt the gaze of the inverted triangle eyes. She stepped forward and stood in front of Yue. That inverted triangular-eyed guy is very masculine. Many new students have been played by him when they first arrived in the inner courtyard, she whispered to Sima Yue. Yo, I didn't expect you to have a new member. The inverted triangle eyes laughed. He's quite handsome. But I heard that your club didn't recruit a single new member this time. Where did this kid come from? It's none of your business. Shui Rong glared at him. Put away your dirty eyes, or I'll blind them for you. Tisk, Shui Rong, don't tell me you're standing in front of her because I'm not interested in you. I really don't like someone like you. That brat is still more handsome. The inverted triangle eyes said lecherously. There really is a kid, and he looks very young. I wonder how it'll be like. Someone spoke even more bluntly. Little guy, what are you going to do with this kind of useless society? If you want to join a big society like ours. Only then will you have a way out. What do you think? If you come over now, you can avoid physical pain today. Jiashan said. He knew that there were a few people in their club who liked to do these things. Since a brother had taken a fancy to her, he would just take her in. Jiashan, take your men and put away that disgusting look. Ma Bojian scolded. Sima Yue came out from behind Shui Rong and looked at the person opposite her, saying, Is killing allowed in the inner courtyard? Under normal circumstances, it's not allowed. Shui Rong said. If the outer yard can do it, why can't the inner yard do it? Sima Yue was confused. Because those who are able to enter the inner courtyard are all considered to have better talent. It would be a pity if they died. Shui Rong explained. What a pity. Sima Yue said regretfully, I wanted them to die painlessly, but now it seems that they have to live painfully. Before anyone could react, they saw a figure flash by, followed by a scream that resounded through the forest. Sima Yue was standing at the same spot with a dagger in her hand. The dagger was still dripping with blood. Opposite her, inverted triangle eyes had his hands on his thighs and was curled up on the ground, screaming in pain. Not far away, a piece of meat mixed with the cloth of his trousers was thrown on the ground. Everyone was stunned by this turn of events. She actually, Sima Yue congealed some water to clean the dagger. Then, she took out a handkerchief and wiped the dagger carefully. I hate it when people look at me with such disgusting eyes. If you're unhappy, your hand will slip. She blew on the dagger and only stopped when she saw that it was really clean. She threw the scarf on the ground and looked at the person on the ground with murderous intent. You actually crippled him? Jiashan shouted. Didn't you see it? Sima Yue said, My dagger is very fast. If any of you want to try, I don't mind helping you completely. I'll cut off your third leg so that you won't be affected by your lower body. Seeing her clean actions and cold voice, all the men present subconsciously clamped their legs together. How dare you injure a member of my Thunderbolt Society? Does your society not want to continue existing? Jiashan was frightened by her aura. At this moment, he really felt a chill from the bottom of his heart. You're wrong. I'm not from their society. Sima Yue said, I just happened to meet them. Originally, I didn't intend to interfere in the matters between your two societies. But who asked you to disgust me and even have designs on me? If you don't want to end up like him, hurry up and get lost. How arrogant. My Thunderbolt Society has never been afraid of anyone. Since you're not from the society, it's even easier. How dare you hurt my people? Men, catch her and bring her back to the leader. Jiashan shouted. Let's see who dares to move. Ma Bojian took a step forward and stood in front of Yue, blocking her. Ma Bojian, do you want to go against us because of someone who's not from your society? Jiashan questioned sternly. His people were crippled in front of him. If this were to spread out, how could he show his face? Hence, he didn't care about the matters between the two societies. In his eyes, he was determined to catch Sima Yue and report back. Jia Shan, if you want to catch her, you have to beat me up first. Ma Bojian took out his weapon and stood firmly in front of Yue. You asked for it. Beat all of them down. It doesn't matter if they're crippled or crippled, as long as they can't stand up. Jia Shan ordered. It doesn't matter if they're crippled or crippled. Sima Yue repeated. Her voice made the people who were about to surround her subconsciously pause. She patted Ma Bojian's shoulder and said, Brother Ma, keep your weapon. I'll handle this so that your society won't be implicated. Yue, don't force yourself. They're all vicious people and there are so many of them. You're not their match. Shui Rong said. You two haven't recovered from your injuries yet. If you go over, you'll still be beaten up. Sima Yue said, since that's the case, watch how I beat people up here. After speaking, she rushed in front of those people and raised her fists to hit them. Close combat was her forte. Adding on her body that was comparable to a spirit beast, she was even stronger than Fatty Chu when it came to beating people up. She took care of one person with one punch. After a few hits, those people were all lying on the ground. Only Jia Shan, who was at the back of the crowd, was left. Sima Yue stood in the middle of a group of people and looked at Jia Shan. He was so scared that he fell to the ground. Who are you? Jia Shan was so scared that he stuttered. It wasn't just him. Shu Yuan and the rest were all staring at her in shock. Me? Why should I tell you who I am? What right do you have to know my name? Sima Yue kicked the person beside her and said, Today, I only broke your arms, legs and ribs. If you dare to find trouble with me again, I won't be as nice as today. Now scram. This time, no one said anything. Those with broken arms helped those with broken legs up and called out their spirit beasts one by one. They sat on them and quickly left the place. Sima Yue clapped her hands and turned around to look at the stunned people and said, You guys came with me today. Will it cause any trouble for your society? Ma Bojian was the first to react. He kept his weapon and said, Thunderbolt has always wanted to take over our society, but they've failed time and time again. We're now like fire and water with them. Even without you, they wouldn't give us any less trouble. But if it weren't for you, I'm afraid we would have been severely beaten up by them today. Thank you. Chapter 631. Ma Bojian said the longest thing he had said to Yue in the past few days. But Yue crippled that person. I heard that he is a student of Teacher Hong from the refining department. That teacher is very protective of his students. Will something happen to Yue? Shu Yuan said somewhat worriedly. What's there to be afraid of? Shui Rong said nonchalantly. Is Teacher Hong as good as Teacher Su? Teacher Hong was protective of his students, but was Teacher Su the same? It seems that Teacher Su is the most protective teacher in the inner courtyard. That's true. Shu Yuan smiled and said, Teacher Hong is still not as good as Teacher Su. Yue, when the time comes, just push Teacher Su out. It will definitely be fine. Not bad. Maybe we can give it a try. It's his fault for leaving me here. Sima Yue did not comment on their suggestion. Let's talk about it later. Meanwhile, somewhere in the inner court, Su Jin's mouth twitched. Why did this guy cripple him? Looking at the way she acted, it was really neat. Hongfei, is it? Your student actually dared to touch my student. This debt is not easy to settle. He took a bite of the spirit fruit in his hand and said faintly. The courtyard door was opened and a tall and sturdy man walked in. He saw Su Jin lying on the chair and said, Master, didn't you say that little junior brother was coming? Why isn't he here yet? Xiao, why are you in such a hurry? That brat will naturally come when he should. Su Jin said, Do you miss him that much? Master, you asked me to arrange accommodation for her. You asked me to take care of her matters. Just wait, they'll be here soon. Su Jin said. I say, Master, you didn't throw her into the maze, did you? A lazy voice came from outside. Then, a man in white walked in with half-closed eyes. The people in the courtyard didn't find it strange that he looked half asleep and half awake. It seemed that he had always been like this. Kong Junchul, what are you doing here instead of concocting pills and sleeping? Su Jin looked at his eldest disciple. Every time he saw him, he wanted to refine some kind of pill to ruin his face. However, he would spare him every time because he was slightly weaker than himself. I just finished refining pills and came out. I heard that you're back, so I came to see you. Kong Junchul touched his face and said lazily, but he emphasized the word, old man. I say, why are you all gathered here? Is that brat here? A woman in red walked in. Seeing that the three of them were here, she thought that the legendary junior brother had come. The girl in red seemed to be the most normal of the three. She looked normal, spoke normal, and walked normal. She really seemed normal. But what she said after that completely exposed her abnormality. He's not here? Seriously, you made me leave behind the delicious food and come here. I'm going back to continue. Han Miao Shuang, what else do you know besides eating? Su Jin looked at his second disciple with a headache. Why were all his students either fond of eating or sleeping? How could he be deceived by them in the first place? Master, besides eating, I also know how to refine pills. Don't you know? I'm so hungry. I'm going back. Han Miao Shuang looked at Su Jin as if he was an idiot and prepared to leave. Han Miao Shuang, besides refining pills, you only know how to eat. Why don't I see you as fat as a spirit pig? Kong Junchul still looked lazy. Kong Junchul, besides refining pills, you only know how to sleep. Why don't I see you as fat as a spirit pig? Han Miao Shuang replied and turned to leave. All right, inform me when junior brother arrives. I want to see what kind of person master has brought back this time. Don't worry. He's not like you guys. He's absolutely normal. Sujin said. TSK, do you know how to deal with normal people? Han Miao Shuang obviously didn't believe him and left the courtyard without looking back. Looking at the direction she went, needless to say, she was definitely going to look for food. I'm going back to sleep. Kong Junchul walked past Su Jin and went upstairs. Only Xiao Xiao bowed respectfully and said, Master, I'm going to refine pills. Su Jin watched the three of them leave and fiercely took a bite of the spirit fruit in his hand. These guys, I'll let you be lazy now. When Yu Yu comes, let's see if you can still be so calm. Thinking of Yu Yu, he thought of what she just did. He wasn't in the mood to eat the spirit fruit in his hand and threw it behind him. In the end, he didn't hear the sound of it landing. Master, I just cleaned the courtyard. Xiao Xiao, who was about to leave, was standing not far behind him, holding the spirit fruit that Su Jin just threw out. Su Jin's head hurt from his sad little eyes. Xiao Xiao, you're an alchemist, not a cleaner. Su Jin said resentfully. I know. I didn't slack off when refining pills. I just used the time when senior brother and senior sister were eating and sleeping to clean. Xiao Xiao. Su Jin rubbed his brows and said, hurry up and leave. My eyes hurt looking at you. Then junior brother? He'll be here by tomorrow at the latest. Then this disciple will go and prepare his house. Su Jin felt that he was wrong. How did he see these disciples in the first place? His heart was stifled. He should go and deal with the trouble that Yu Yu caused today. Sima Yue arrived at Lulan courtyard that night. It was the most unique courtyard in the inner courtyard. Yu Yu, this is where Teacher Su and his students live. We can't enter this courtyard without permission, so we can only send you here. Xuerong said. Thank you. Sima Yue smiled at Xuerong. Xuerong and Ma Bo said goodbye and left. She stood alone in front of the courtyard and didn't casually enter. It wasn't that she didn't want to, but she saw traces of an array here. If she rashly went in, she was afraid that she would be trapped here. This place wasn't considered remote. Although it was already late at night, there were still some students coming and going. When they saw her standing in front, they sneered and walked away. Another person who wants to be under Teacher Su. This person looks like a new student. She doesn't even look at her own talent. She still wants to be in Teacher Su's good graces? The new students these days are getting more and more impulsive. They don't want to be down to earth and cultivate. They just want to be under these teachers. It's time to let those new students know the rules of the academy. Those people left as they discussed, but the sound of their discussion was still carried by the evening wind. Sima Yue didn't expect that she would attract such talk just by standing here. She felt that these people in the inner courtyard didn't all like to cultivate. There were still many people who liked to gossip and gossip. Just as she was hesitating whether to continue to stand here in the cold wind or risk entering the array, a swaying shadow appeared from behind. Chapter 632. Book title: Senior Sister Zhang and Senior Brother's Hobbies Are Good. Special author Sima Yue looked at the shadow on the ground that was elongated by the moonlight. That crooked figure did not seem normal. Before she turned around, she could smell the scent of alcohol. "Who are you? What are you doing standing here?" A drunken question came from behind. Sima Yue turned around and saw a lady in a fiery red dress with a drunken look on her face. She was holding a jar of wine in her hand and looking at her with her head tilted. "I'll look for Teacher Su," Mayue said. "Looking for my master?" Han Miao Shuang narrowed her eyes and looked at Sima Yue. Then she smiled and said with certainty, "You're Sima Yue, right?" "Exactly." Yue greet Senior. Sima Yue cupped her hands towards Han Miao Shuang. "What's Senior Sister?" "We call her Senior Sister here." Han Miao Shuang waved her hand and said, "I was still asking them during the day when you would arrive, and you're already here at night. That's pretty fast. Come on, I'll take you inside. You have to follow me closely. Otherwise, I can't guarantee where you will appear." Sima Yue looked at the array with a trace of interest. She did not expect that this array not only had the function of a maze, it also had the function of a teleportation array. "Yue will definitely follow Senior Sister." "Didn't you say Senior Sister?" Han Miao Shuang corrected again. "Teacher Su is just my teacher, not my master. So you are her disciple but not my Senior Sister. You can only be called a Senior Sister." "He actually didn't accept you as a disciple?" This time, it was Han Miao Shuang's turn to be surprised. This was not in line with his character. "Senior, did you just come back from barbecued meat?" Sima Yue smiled and changed the topic. "How did you know?" Han Miao Shuang's interest was piqued. "Other than the smell of wine, there's also the smell of charcoal on you," Sima Yue explained. "Are you familiar with these scents?" Han Miao Shuang grabbed her hand. Seeing Sima Yue nod, she asked excitedly, "Then you definitely know how to cook?" "A little." Sima Yue did not know why she was so excited. She pondered for a while and replied, "Then what will you do? Barbecue?" I know how to barbecue meat." Sima Yue said. "It's not just barbecue, I can cook other dishes too." She didn't say that out loud, because she realized that Han Miao Shuang's expression was a little off. It was different from the average foodie. But what was wrong, she couldn't tell at the moment. "Really? Then can you cook for me?" Han Miao Shuang said. "As a new junior brother, it's only right for you to cook for your senior sister. And it's settled then. You go find master first, then I'll go find you." The two of them just happened to walk into the courtyard. Han Miao Shuang patted her shoulder and left, looking very excited. Sima Yue saw that she was so excited that she seemed to have sobered up. "This person? Does she like to eat that much?" She muttered as she looked at her back. "She likes to eat and refine pills equally." A man suddenly appeared beside Sima Yue, giving her a shock. Sima Yue looked at the man who was at least 2 meters tall who suddenly appeared and was shocked. She asked subconsciously, "Who are you?" Such a tall, strong and rough-looking man compared to Su Jin, that pretty boy, they were two extremes, right? "I'm Xiao Xiao, Master's third disciple. I used to be the youngest, but now that you're here, you're the youngest." Xiao Xiao Xiao? Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This time her whole body twitched. How could he say his name so naturally in such a state? "Xiao, Senior Xiao Xiao, that is?" "She's called Han Miao Shuang, Master's second disciple. She came 10 years earlier than me." "Xiao, her biggest hobby is to eat. No matter when or where, as long as she's not refining pills, she'll definitely have food on her hands." "So exaggerated?" Sima Yue was shocked. This was already beyond the scope of a foodie? You said that you're the youngest and she's the second disciple. Then what about the eldest disciple? Kong Junchul? He came out once you called him. Before Sima Yue could react, Xiao Xiao had already shouted at the top of his lungs. Eldest senior brother, youngest junior brother is here. No one responded. Fire! Fire! Someone's going to be disfigured! Xiao Xiao shouted a few more times. Bang! A door on the second floor was violently opened. Kong Junchul walked to the balcony and shouted at Xiao Xiao in the courtyard. Su Xiao Xiao, why are you howling in the middle of the night? Do you not want to live anymore? You dare to disturb my sleep, I'll beat you to death. Eldest senior brother, you've already slept for a whole day. Su Xiao said. It's only been a day and you've already woken me up? Since when have I only slept for a day? Kong Junchul was even angrier and wanted to beat him up. Youngest junior brother is here. Su Xiao said. Kong Junchul then saw Sima Yue behind him. Sima Yue also saw the appearance of this senior brother. Under the moonlight, his face looked more delicate than a woman's. His loose nightgown was casually tied and his long hair was casually tossed behind his head. His half-awake eyes were so charming under the moonlight. Nothing is more important than sleep. See you tomorrow, youngest junior brother. If you howl again, I'll throw you out. Kong Junchul threatened. You can't beat me. Su Xiao Xiao said honestly. Alchemy. Jiang Junja tossed these two words and went back, leaving behind a confused Sima Yu and an unhappy Su Xiao Xiao. He asked you to make alchemy? Sima Yue asked. He said he doesn't want to fight with me. He wants to compete with me in alchemy. Su Xiao said. Does senior brother Jiang like to sleep? Sima Yue asked curiously. Other than alchemy, he sleeps all the time. Su Xiao said. And he hates it when people disturb his sleep. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. He actually likes to sleep so much. Sima Yue sighed. Yes, he likes to sleep just like how second senior sister likes to eat. He doesn't miss a single moment. Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Su Xiao Xiao meaningfully and asked, what do you usually do? Previously, Shui Rong and the others said that Su Jin's disciples were very special. Now that she saw that one of them could eat and the other could sleep, she was suddenly curious about what was so special about the guy beside her. Alchemy. Su Xiao Xiao replied. What else do you do besides alchemy? Clean the house, wash the clothes for the three of them, and clean the whole yard. Su Xiao Xiao picked out the better things to say. In this world, there were actually people who liked to do housework. Sima Yu looked at the spotless courtyard and could only imagine how strong his obsessive-compulsive disorder must be to be able to do that. Ahem, senior brother and senior sister's interests and hobbies are very special. Where is Teacher Su? She didn't see Su Jin and asked. Gentleman's alliance. Chapter 633. Master went out during the day. I don't know what he's doing. He told me to wait for you and take you to your room. Come with me, Xiao said. I've already tidied up your room. By the way, Master said that you were frightened today and asked you to have a good rest. He went to deal with it. Sima Yue paused. Did Su Jin already know what she had done today? And he even said that she was frightened? Was he sure he didn't say anything wrong? He must have known what he had done today. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said that he was going to deal with it. Since he knew, how could he say that he was frightened? This is your room. Xiao Xiao brought her to a small building at the side. She opened the door and said, the small building that we used to live in with the four of us is already full. This was used to store miscellaneous items. Now that I've tidied it up, it definitely looks like a bedroom. The bedding, tables, and chairs are all new. No one has used them before. Sima Yue walked in and saw that the house was neatly tidied up. Even she, who loved cleanliness, could not find a single flaw. Thank you, Senior Su. It's late. You should rest first. If there's anything else, we can talk about it tomorrow. Su Xiaowang turned and left. Sima Yue walked to the door and looked at the courtyard. There were a total of 4 small buildings. One was where Su Jin and the others lived, one was where she was currently living, and the other two were for unknown purposes. However, thinking about it, everyone who lived here were alchemists, so it should be related to alchemy. Other than that, there were some flower beds in the courtyard, and some of them were quite rare. There was also a large piece of land behind the courtyard, which should be used to grow medicinal herbs. Although Su Jin is a bit flashy, he looks normal. But these three disciples, why are they all? She shook her head and gently closed the door. At this time, Su Jin was in the inner court's director's office, and Hong Fa was with him. He casually leaned on the sofa in the office, and Hong Fa glared at him angrily. The office manager was a man with a mustache. Seeing the two of them like this, he rubbed his eyebrows. Su Jin, you connived at your student committing murder in the maze forest, and you actually still have such an indifferent appearance. Aren't you too condescending? Hong Fa shouted. It's okay for me to be arrogant, but it's wrong for your student to be arrogant. What? The cause and effect of the matter has already been clarified. Your student was so vulgar to my student. What's wrong with my student teaching him a lesson? Su Jin flicked his fingernails and didn't put Hong Fa's anger in his eyes. Besides, didn't I fail to kill you? I'm still keeping him alive. Hong Fa only said one sentence, but he was choked by so many words. His expression became even uglier. Su Jin, your student did such a cruel thing and you can still say it so casually? Wrong, I'm not calm, I'm very angry. Su Jin said seriously. Hong Fa coldly snorted. He thought that Su Jin was angering Sima Yue, but he almost vomited blood when he heard Su Jin's words. Speaking of which, that student of mine is really soft-hearted. If a man dares to say that to me, I definitely won't cut off the bottom, but the neck. Who do you think you are? How dare you have such thoughts about me? I'll have to teach her to be more ruthless when it comes to such things. It's too shameful for us men. Su Jin scolded seriously. Su Jin. Hong Fa angrily roared. I'm not as old as you. My ears are still working, there's no need to shout so loudly. Su Jin picked his ears. Today's matter was originally your student's fault. He was crippled because his skills weren't as good as others. If I were you, I wouldn't be shouting here right now. I'd go back and guard your precious disciple and see if I can reattach his thing. If it's treated early, maybe it can be reattached. As for whether it can still be used after it's reattached, it'll depend on your skills. Alright, if there's nothing else, I'm going back to sleep. Good night to the two of you. With that, he got up and walked outside, ignoring the two people inside. As long as the school didn't punish him, he didn't need to care about other things. Hong Fa saw that he really left and turned to look at the director. Director, you have to make a decision for my student. That Sima Yue just came in and something like this happened. In the future. The director raised his hand to interrupt him and helplessly said, Teacher Hong, today's matter has been investigated clearly. It was indeed your student who was in the wrong first. The inner court doesn't have any rules that forbid students from fighting. According to the school's rules, as long as no one dies or their cultivation isn't crippled, they don't care. Your student didn't die or cripple her cultivation, so the school has no reason to punish her. Just like what Teacher Su said, there's no point in wasting time here. You might as well go back and watch your student. Hearing the director say this, Hong Fa knew that he couldn't get justice from the school, so he angrily left. This little thing is really something. He hasn't even entered the inner court and already caused such a thing. It seems like he's also a troublesome person. In the future, Su Jin will be busy. Master, you're rejoicing in other people's misfortune. A bird on the windowsill said. This Su Jin is too carefree. Don't you think it's a very happy thing that someone can take care of him? The director thought of Su Jin's future life and smiled while shaking his mustache. Su Jin returned to his courtyard and saw that the light in Sima Yue's room had been turned off. Although he wanted to rush in and scold her for doing a good job, he gave up after thinking about his beauty sleep. It was time to go to sleep. Although Sima Yue was lying in bed, she was awake. She knew when Su Jin came in and felt that he stopped in the courtyard for a while. She thought that he was going to look for her, but he went back directly. The next morning, Su Xiaoxiao knocked on her door. "Little junior brother, someone is looking for you," Su Xiaoxiao said outside. Sima Yue opened the door and saw Su Xiaoxiao's fierce appearance. After one night, she miraculously accepted the contrast between his name and appearance. "Who is looking for me?" She had just entered the inner court. Why was someone looking for her? "They said it's your brother and friend," Su Xiaoxiao said. Sima Yue knew who it was as soon as she heard it. "Thank you, Senior Su, for telling me." She came out and closed the door, saying, "Can I bring them in?" Su Xiaoxiao hesitated and said, "You have to ask the master. The three of us don't have many friends, so no one has come to look for us. We have never encountered such a thing before. I don't know if I can let them in." "Then I'll ask the master." Sima Yue walked 2 steps and stopped. She turned back and asked, "Which room does the master live in?" Chapter 634. Junior brother, it's best that you don't disturb master. He has a bad temper when he wakes up. Su Xiaoxiao reminded her kindly. He has a bad temper when he wakes up? Sima Yue was speechless. Were they really spirit masters? Master said that it's the worst thing in the world to be woken up when you're having a good beauty sleep in the morning. That's why we don't wake him up in the morning. Su Xiaoxiao said seriously. Sima Yue's face darkened. This guy even knew about such advanced terms like beauty sleep? All right then, I'll go and see my brothers first. I'll bring you out. Su Xiaoxiao knew that Sima Yue still didn't know the array outside, so he brought her out. I'll tell you the rules of the array first, in case you don't know how to get in. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue said gratefully. Actually, she already knew how to get out of the array after following Han Miao Shuang once. But seeing how enthusiastic Su Xiaoxiao was, she felt that she shouldn't discourage him. So when Su Xiaoxiao told her the method, she responded enthusiastically. Although she tried her best to make it look like she didn't know how to get out of the array so quickly, she even asked 2 questions on purpose. But when she went out and said that she already knew how to get out, Su Xiaoxiao was surprised. Fifth bro. Yu. Sima Yuqi, Sima Yuming, Wei Ziqi and Bei Gongtang were outside the house. When they saw Sima Yue come out, they shouted at her. Eldest brother, second brother, why are you here? Sima Yue walked towards them and turned back to Su Xiaoxiao. Senior Su, you can go back first. Su Xiaoxiao glanced at Wei Ziqi and the others and said, come back after a chat. Master will definitely look for you when he wakes up. I got it. Thank you, Senior Su. Sima Yue nodded in reply, then turned around and walked towards Sima Yuming and the others. Yue, are you okay? Bei Gongtang pulled Sima Yue and asked. Very good. What's wrong? How did you know we were here so quickly? After confirming that she was really fine, the 4 of them breathed a sigh of relief and said, we heard about what happened between you and Ma Bojian last night. We also heard that you sent Teacher Hong's disciple flying. We were worried that something might have happened to you. This morning, when he heard that they had returned, he ran over to ask them about the details. They said you were here, so we came over. Fifth brother, what's going on? How could you cripple that brat? I heard that Teacher Hong made a big fuss yesterday, saying that he wanted the sect to expel you. It was only after Teacher Su stepped in that the matter was suppressed. Sima Yuming asked. Sima Yue shrugged. That guy wants me to serve them. He wants me to follow them. If I serve them well, I can do whatever I want in the Thunderbolt Society. That son of a bitch, I'm going to kill him. Sima Yuming turned around to look for that person for revenge, but he was grabbed by Wei Ziqi. Don't be angry, I'm not the one who will suffer in the end. Sima Yue said with a smile. It's no wonder that the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word that they are irreconcilable with you. If any society dares to take you in, they will become enemies with them. Hong Fa's students are also clamoring to teach you a lesson. Bei Gongtang said worriedly. What's there to be afraid of? Whoever dares to provoke me, I'll kill them one by one. If a pair comes, I'll kill a pair. If a dozen comes, I'll kill a dozen. Sima Yue wasn't worried at all. In any case, she had so many old monsters by her side. Any one of them would be able to kill them all. It's good that you know what you're doing. Wei Ziqi said. The sect has its own rules. They won't dare to do it openly, but they're afraid that they'll do something to you. I'll take note. Sima Yue said, but she didn't take it to heart. Why are you the only ones here today? Where are the others? They've all gone into closed-door cultivation. Sima Yue said. We only came out yesterday. Fatty has caught the eye of his teacher and was taken to one side. He probably hasn't gotten the news yet. Ouyang has been in closed-door cultivation these 2 days to refine pills. Bei Gongtang said. Where did Fatty go? His teacher has a weird temper as well. He's the #1 armament teacher. He took a liking to him and insisted on taking him in as a disciple. You know, the treatment of a teacher's disciple is different from that of a student. He was forced to move to his master's courtyard. Wei Ziqi explained. That's not bad. This kid has finally met a talent scout. Sima Yue said happily. Fatty Chu's talent wasn't bad. He was very good at armament, but he had never received any formal guidance. Sima Yue initially wanted to help him find a teacher after they entered the Divine Devil Valley. She didn't expect that he would meet one himself. That kid was unwilling at first. He said that following a female master was useless. In the end, he was caught to watch her refine armaments. He eagerly went over. Wei Ziqi couldn't help but laugh when he thought of Fatty Chu's reaction. What about Little Two? Which teacher is he under now? Sima Yue asked. Little Two was different from them. He was sent to the inner sect in less than a year after entering the sect. She didn't know how he was doing now. Thinking about it, she hadn't seen him for more than 2 years. Wei Ziqi and the others shook their heads. This made her heart tighten. Did something happen to him? No, it's just that we have no news of him. Sima Yue said. No news of him? Didn't he come to the inner sect? He did come to the inner sect, but we asked many people. They don't know Little Tuesday. Only a lunatic said that he met Little Two, but there was no news of him. Sima Yue said, furthermore, it was when he just entered the inner sect. Then how do you know that nothing happened to him? If nothing happened, why is there no news at all? Sima Yue didn't believe that lunatic. Yue, don't worry. Wei Ziqi comforted. The lunatic said that he met him in the principal's office. There was no news of him after that. He guessed that the sect sent him to a secret place to cultivate. You know that Little Two is different from us, so this possibility is high. Who is the lunatic? A guy in the top 20 of the billboard. Because he likes to find people to fight, and once he fights, he's like a lunatic. That's why everyone calls him lunatic. How do you know this kind of person? There was once when he fought with someone and was seriously injured. He happened to be here to buy some pills, so we asked him. Who would have thought that he would actually know? Bei Gongtang said. Someone in the top 10 of the billboard was seriously injured by someone. TSK, I'm really curious who beat him up. Sima Yue said while rubbing her chin. To be able to injure him so badly, it must be someone in the top 10. And those who are willing to fight with him are probably those ranked 6th to 10th. Why, are you interested in him? Wei Ziqi asked with raised eyebrows. Chapter 635. I have no interest in this kind of battle maniac. Sima Yue waved her hand. It was unlucky to be entangled with this kind of battle maniac. He would ask you to fight for no reason. Being with this kind of person was simply asking for a beating. She looked towards the courtyard and said, Let's go before teacher wakes up. We'll go to your place to take a look and familiarize ourselves with the roads. In case I can't find you in the future. All right. The place that Wei Ziqi and the others were staying in was one of those large dormitories, with over 10 people sharing a courtyard. Although each person had their own room, it was still far from Sima Yue's. Sima Yue saw 2 familiar faces when she walked in. Yen, Wu Hen, you guys live here too? Sima Yue asked in surprise. Tuoba Yen Air had just returned from her closed-door cultivation in the cultivation pagoda. When she heard Sima Yue's voice, she turned around in astonishment. Yue, when did you come to the academy? Tuoba Yen Air was very happy to see Sima Yue and walked over. I arrived last night. Sima Yue said, I didn't expect you to be in the same courtyard as them. I thought you would be living with Han and the others. Us freshmen basically stay in these few courtyards. Since they are your brothers and friends, we can stay together. Tuoba Yen Air said. Yue, why are you? Feng Wuhan walked over and looked around. I'm here to see where my brother and the others are staying so that I can find the way. Sima Yue said. The Thunderbolt Society is looking for you. Why did you come out? Feng Wuhan said. You knew about it too? This is such a big matter. It won't take a day for it to spread throughout the entire academy. Moreover, the Thunderbolt Society has spread the word everywhere. Now, everyone wants to see what it's like when you go up against them. Feng Wuhan said. Sima Yue burst into laughter. The leader of the Thunderbolt Society is either a fool or he has a grudge against someone. Everyone was puzzled. Otherwise, why would they make the news of him being crippled known to everyone? Sima Yue said, it's embarrassing for any man to lose that thing, isn't it? But now everyone knows. If that regiment commander doesn't have any enmity with him, then he must be stupid. Pucci, with her explanation, everyone came to their senses and realized that it was indeed the case. Cough cough. Don't bother about whether they are stupid or not. There are many people in the Thunderbolt Society. If you go up against them, it won't be good for you. Feng Wuhan said. I'll be careful, Sima Yue replied. What are you guys talking about? Tuoba Yen Air was confused. She saw that everyone seemed to have understood, but it seemed that she was the only one who did not know. Hence, Feng Wuhan told her about how Sima Yue had crippled him. After hearing that, Tuoba Yen Air looked at Sima Yue with a strange expression. Then she couldn't help but laugh out loud. She even laughed until tears came out of her eyes. Yue, you're a man. Didn't you think of yourself when you did it? Sima Yue replied honestly. Because she wasn't a man. All right, Yue, let's send you back. You're in the limelight now. It won't be good if the Thunderbolt Society sees you. Sima Yuming said. That's good too. Teacher should be up already. Sima Yue said, Yen Air, Wu Hen, I'll come and chat with you guys when I'm free. Okay. Tuoba Yen Air and the others naturally knew where Su Jin's house was, so they didn't follow her. Bei Gong Tang and the others followed her back. The journey wasn't far and they were already very low-key. However, they were still discovered by the Thunderbolt Society. Brother Exen, that's her. She's Sima Yue. A man with a scar on his face walked over with a group of people. He pointed at Sima Yue and said hatefully. Then, a group of people quickly rushed over and surrounded them. When the passers-by saw the situation, they all stepped aside to watch the commotion. That's Sima Yue? She looks so young. Is it really her? Then who is she? Sima Yue. Who's Sima Yue? You don't even know Sima Yue? Why would I know? You don't know what happened yesterday? Yesterday? I was in seclusion yesterday. I just came out this morning. Did something happen yesterday? Yesterday, something big or small happened? All right, don't keep me in suspense. Tell me quickly. Actually, it's nothing much. It's just that this Sima Yue crippled one of Hong Fa's students. What? She's too daring. Not only that, she beat up more than 10 people by herself. Really? That person obviously didn't believe it. How could one person beat up more than 10 people? Hey, you don't believe it. The Thunderbolt team has already spread the word that they're going to teach her a lesson. Just watch, there's going to be a good show today. Sima Yuming and the others didn't react to the commotion around them. They stood in front of Sima Yue, blocking the Thunderbolt team members. Leader Xiao, what are you trying to do? Sima Yuming asked coldly. Oh, you recognize me? Xiao Qi looked at Sima Yuming. It'll be easy if you recognize me. Hand over the person behind you, and I'll let you watch the commotion from the side for now. My younger brother has just entered the inner sect and is not familiar with it. If he has done anything wrong, please forgive him, Leader Xiao. Sima Yuming stood where he was, refusing to budge. He's your younger brother? Xiao Qi pointed at Sima Yuming. Since he's your brother, then we'll tie him up and bring him back to the team. We'll bring the other 3 back as well. The ones with him are probably in the same group. After Shao Qi spoke, the people beside him pounced on them. Before they even touched them, a shadow flashed by and they were all kicked. Sima Yue landed beside Sima Yu Ming and clapped her hands, saying, "Can we hit people here?" "You can as long as you don't kill them," Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue nodded seriously. If they didn't kill them, it would be easy to settle things with a bottom line. "You've got guts. You actually dare to hit my Thunderbolt team members." Shao Qi was so scared by Sima Yue that he subconsciously took a step back, mustering his courage to berate her. Sima Yue stepped on the back of a person who was lying on the ground. She looked at Shao Qi, saying, "Leader Shao, right? Are you blind, or are you trying to bully everyone else? You were the one who brought people here to beat me up. Why is it that I'm the one with guts now? Don't tell me that if you're about to be beaten up, you'll stick your face over and ask for a few more punches? I'm not that stupid. Leader Shao, do you want to have a taste of my fists?" Shao Qi saw Sima Yue's cold gaze and the people who were wailing on the ground. He was already terrified. However, when he saw so many people watching the commotion, he couldn't bring himself to do it. Chapter 636. Captain Shao, please go back and tell your superiors that I'm here to study, not to fight with you. If you don't disturb my studies, we'll be fine. If you insist on going against me, then I'll be happy to accompany you to the end. After Sima Yu finished speaking, she took Sima Yu Ming and the others and left. When the onlookers saw them walking over, they subconsciously made way for them. Sima Yue? Why do I feel like this name is a little familiar? Is the new student who applied for a year's leave before coming to school called Sima Yue? Yes, it seems to be her. She's actually a freshman? Heavens, how is this combat strength of a freshman? Not only is she a freshman, she's also an alchemist. How can an alchemist have such a strong combat strength? This person is too scary. It's better not to go against him in the future. Since she said so, the Thunderbolt Society will definitely find trouble with her. But she was also a tough nut to crack. I'm looking forward to what happens next. Although Shao Qi wasn't beaten up, his expression was still very ugly. He was actually scared silly in front of so many people. How was he going to show his face in the academy in the future? Go. A bunch of useless things. He scolded the people on the ground and left angrily. Both sides had left, and those who had come to watch the show also dispersed. Not far away, 2 men, one in black and one in blue, were looking at the crooked backs of the Thunderbolt Society. The excitement on their faces had yet to subside. "Mo Bin, did you see that? That guy's fighting strength is really strong." The blue-clothed man, Tang Yan, excitedly grabbed the black-clothed man's arm. Mo Bin pulled his hand out and said faintly, "I saw him. He's a new student with decent power." Right? Tang Yan didn't mind being disdained, and said with a grin, "I really didn't expect to see such a cute freshman after coming out of seclusion this time. You're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt Society. TSKSK, I wonder if I should say that the younger generation will surpass us in time. It has nothing to do with you. Let's go." Mo Bin turned and left. Tang Yan hurriedly chased after him. "Do you think she will attend the next 3 meetings? Didn't you hear that he's an alchemist? If you want to participate, you should be participating in the alchemist competition. It'll be great if she participates in the Spirit Master competition. I really want to see how far she can go." Tang Yan said, "Say, if she participates in the Spirit Master competition, how far can she go?" Top 200. Mo Bin thought of her clean and nimble movements and the strength of her body. He changed his words and said, "Maybe you can enter the top 150. It's already amazing for a freshman to enter the top 150. Tang Yan also felt that Sima Yue's ability could reach that level. I wonder if Madman will come and fight her if he knows how strong she is. It's possible. However, it might suppress his strength. Mo Bin felt that this was very likely. That Madman would want to fight anyone who was stronger than him. He would suppress those who were weaker than him to the same level. The last time he looked for you, who won? How could he possibly win against me? I gave him a good beating so that he wouldn't come looking for trouble with me every time. Tang Yen said with a headache, I'm wondering why he doesn't look for you guys. He's always harassing us. How do you know he didn't look for us? Emobin asked back. He looked for you guys? Tang Yan's eyes widened. Why didn't we hear anything about it? A long time ago. Emobin said, we agreed before the battle that the loser is not allowed to look for me for 100 years. The result was self-evident. Tang Yen looked at Emobin's eyes that said, you're stupid, and felt that he was stupid. Why didn't they agree beforehand? If Madman comes again, they must agree before fighting. The two of them walked through the campus and attracted a lot of attention. Isn't that the 5th and 10th ranked Emobin and Tang Yen? They actually came out. Heavens, it's really them. They're so handsome. Don't be love-struck. Don't provoke the top 20 people on the billboard. They're already far away. Let's go too. Sima Yue and Bei Gong Tang had just walked to the entrance of Su Jin's courtyard when a red figure rushed out. Little junior brother, where did you run off to? I've been looking for you for a long time. Han Miao Shuang grabbed Sima Yue's hand and dragged her into the courtyard. Sima Yue only had time to wave at Bei Gong Tang and the others. Senior sister Han, why are you in such a hurry? What's the matter? They came to the courtyard and Han Miao Shuang finally let go of her. She rubbed her wrist. It was already red from her grabbing. I came back to look for you in the morning, but you weren't there. Han Miao Shuang said. Why are you looking for me? Sima Yue asked again. Second senior sister, I just cleaned the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao's roar came from behind. Xiao, if you shout again, I'll throw you out. Su Jin's soft voice came from upstairs. Kang Junchul was even more direct. An unknown flying object flew out of his window and directly hit Su Xiaoxiao, who was in the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao subconsciously dodged to the side. Sima Yue looked and saw a pillow lying alone on the ground. Sima Yue looked at the courtyard that was in an uproar and felt as if a crow flew past her head. She walked over and picked up the pillow. Holding it in her hand, she looked at the angry Su Xiaoxiao and asked, Senior Su, what happened? Su Xiaoxiao glared at Han Miao Shuang. His eyes looked as if he wanted to eat her up. Thinking of the two sleeping upstairs, he lowered his voice and complained, I don't know where she went to hunt a spirit beast and threw it on the ground. The ground is covered in blood. Xiao, I couldn't find a place to put it. Han Miao Shuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was angry and pursed her lips as she explained. I think you found a place to throw it and then ran to look for junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao didn't believe her and directly exposed her. Isn't it just a little blood on the ground? Why are you so angry? Han Miao Shuang was also angry. She put her hands on her hips and glared at Su Xiaoxiao. I told you before, you're not allowed to put those half-dead things in the courtyard. Su Xiaoxiao didn't show any weakness. The two of them were about to quarrel. Sima Yue finally understood. Su Xiaoxiao rushed out last night to hunt a spirit beast. When he came back, he threw the spirit beast on the ground to look for her. In the end, the blood stained Su Xiaoxiao's floor. Cough, do you want me to barbecue meat for you? She saw that the two of them were getting angrier and angrier. Sit. Han Miao Shuang glared at Su Xiaoxiao again and turned to look at Sima Yue with a smile. Senior Su, go and give this to Senior Jiang. We'll clean up the backyard. She handed the pillow to Su Xiaoxiao. Chapter 637. Although Su Xiaoxiao was very unhappy, she still took the pillow and put it into the space ring. Let's go. I'll go with you. After saying that, he turned and walked towards the backyard. Sima Yue looked at Han Miao Shuang's smirk and knew that she was deliberately quarreling with Su Xiaoxiao. She was sure that although Su Xiaoxiao was angry, she wouldn't really be angry with her. Senior sister, let's go over as well. Let's go. Sima Yue could not help but shake her head. They came to the open space in the backyard and knew why Su Xiaoxiao was angry. A one-story tall horned cow was thrown on the ground. Blood flowed out from its body and not only dyed the ground red, the blood also flowed into the medicinal field next to it. Little junior brother, what do you think of this horned cow? I specially chose one that wasn't very old, thinking that the meat would be more tender. Han Miao Shuang looked at the fork-horned cow with satisfaction, purposely ignoring Su Xiaoxiao's ashen face. The corner of Sima Yueyue's mouth twitched. Senior, you're not asking me to roast this for you, are you? I want to, but if I really let you roast it, I won't be able to finish it. Han Miao Shuang said, which part do you want to roast? Actually, this roasted beef isn't that delicious. Why don't we boil it? Sima Yueyue said casually. Looking at Han Miao Shuang's sparkling eyes, she regretted it so much that she wanted to bite off her own tongue. He clearly knew that she liked to eat, so why did he have to be so nosy? Wasn't that just asking for trouble? As expected, little junior brother, you know how to play with spirit beasts? How do we eat this? Han Miao Shuang came over and almost hugged her and bit her. Yueyue wailed in her heart, but she still smiled and said, it's just a pot of soup. Take the beef and boil it a few times before eating it. Is that tasty? Yuyu really wanted to say that it wasn't delicious, but seeing how excited Han Miao Shuang was, she nodded and said, if the soup pot is cooked well, it will be delicious. If the soup isn't cooked properly, it won't taste good. Then make me a soup pot. Let's boil the beef. Xiao Xiao, don't clean up. Eat with us later. Han Miao Shuang waved at Su Xiaoxiao. Su Xiaoxiao was very angry, so she decided to ignore her today. Therefore, she ignored her when she called her. Han Miao Shuang saw that Su Xiaoxiao was really angry and ran over to coax him. Sima Yue did as she said. Seeing that the courtyard was spacious and there was no kitchen in the entire courtyard, she took out pots, bowls, ladles, and basins and planned to cook here. Sima Yueyue's professional kitchen utensils made Han Miao Shuang even more excited. Looking at Sima Yue was like looking at a treasure. Little junior brother, you're good at cooking, aren't you? How one look at these things and I can tell that you cook often. Han Miao Shuang said confidently. I've been cooking less recently. Sima Yue did not answer her question directly. She hadn't done it that many times in the past 2 years. It seemed that she could count them on one hand. That's what you used to do. Han Miao Shuang said. Seeing her take out all kinds of seasonings and side dishes, she asked, what are these for? To make a soup pot. Sima Yue quickly prepared those ingredients and then fried them in the pot. After the fragrance burst out, she put the mushrooms in to cook. While cooking the soup, she came to the fork-horned cow and cut off a piece of meat. She washed it with water and then cut it into thin slices and put it on a plate. Han Miao Shuang took a piece and looked at the almost transparent meat. She was so surprised that she couldn't speak. When Su Xiaoxiao started cooking from Sima Yue, his attention was attracted by her skillful movements and he unconsciously stopped what he was doing. It smells so good. The fragrance of the soup pot floated out and attracted Han Miao Shuang's attention. She threw the meat slices in her hand and ran to the big pot. She opened the lid and an even stronger fragrance spread out. The entire courtyard was filled with that fragrance. Next to the small courtyard was the building where Su Jin and the others lived. The two of them who were sleeping upstairs were awakened by the fragrance. They tossed and turned on the bed for a while. In the end, their appetite was aroused by the fragrance. They both got up from the bed and opened the window to look downstairs. At this moment, the three of them in the courtyard were eating happily in front of a small pot. Even Xiao Xiao put down his broom. This was something that had never been seen before. Sima Yue looked at the two of them eating happily and sighed in her heart. It was her first day in the academy. She didn't even see the teacher before she got into a fight with someone. Then she was caught to be a chef. Xiao Xiao, are you done sweeping the courtyard? Su Jin leaned on his window and looked at the three of them with a long face. Master, I'll clean the courtyard later. I'll eat the dishes that junior brother made first. Su Xiaoxiao picked up a piece of beef and dipped it into the boiling pot a few times. He dipped it in Sima Yueyu's dipping sauce and ate it when it was still piping hot. He placed it in his mouth and blew twice. Han Miao Shuang didn't even raise her head. Her eyes and hands were wandering around. Su Jin looked at his two disciples. Before he could decide if he should go down and join them, Kong Junchul had already dragged his half-awake body down. Give me a portion too. Kong Junchul lifted Su Xiaoxiao up and sat down. Su Xiaoxiao wasn't angry. He took out a chair and placed it at the side. He continued to fight with the food. Sima Yue took out a set of chopsticks and handed it to Kong Junchul. That guy looked at Su Xiaoxiao and the others' movements and knew how to eat. Junior brother, after eating what you made, I know how bad the food I ate before was. Why didn't you come earlier? Han Miao Shuang sighed. Delicious. Delicious. Su Xiaoxiao agreed. It's really good. Kong Junchul's eyes finally opened completely. He didn't look as sleepy as before. You guys, why didn't you call me when you were eating? Su Jin didn't pretend to be pretentious and ran down. Teacher Su. Sima Yue stood up and gave her seat to him. The four of them were just right to sit at the same table. Junior brother, cut another portion of beef for me. Han Miao Shuang shouted at Sima Yue. Sima Yue helplessly went to the side and cut another 2 portions of beef. Then she thought about it and took out some poultry and spirit beasts. She cut them into pieces and served them. Then she took out some vegetables from the spirit pagoda and cut them into pieces. Those guys finished 1 portion and then another. They originally wanted to make a simple soup pot to deal with Han Miao Shuang. In the end, it became a big meal for the 4 of them. The 4 of them ate from morning to afternoon. They stopped when they couldn't eat anymore. Xiao Xiao, go and pack up. Yue, come here. Su Jin saw Sima Yue packing up and waved his hand. Sima Yue was happy that someone was packing up. She put down her things and walked over. Su Jin held a toothpick in his mouth and said, Did you cause trouble when you went out today? Chapter 638. Sima Yue blinked. Wasn't this guy sleeping? How did he know that something had happened to him when he went out today? There's a group of students outside right now. This has never happened before. If they're not looking for you, then who are they looking for? Sujin said. Sima Yue closed her eyes and sensed her surroundings. Indeed, there were many students gathered outside. Didn't you say that you've already settled the matter? Why are there still so many things? She had some doubts about Su Jin's efficiency. Of course, I'm dealing with the teachers and the school for you. Otherwise, would you still be sitting here? That brat Hong Fa had already gotten rid of him. Su Jin snorted. As for the students, of course you have to deal with them yourself. If I have to deal with everything, how will you grow? Go, take care of those guys for me. If they want to defend, then so be it. Sima Yue refused to leave. She pulled out a chair and sat down beside him. Teacher, shouldn't you tell me how you plan to teach me as a teacher? The alchemy room is over there. If there's anything you don't understand, just ask me. Su Jin pointed to a row of small rooms in the courtyard. No classes? There are no fixed classes in the inner courtyard. Everyone has their own classes, especially those spirit masters. Other than their dormitories, they have the cultivation pagoda. Us alchemists are more or less the same, but we have an additional pill room. If you want to go to the alchemy room to refine pills, that's fine too. Su Jin had a do-as-you-please expression. Where is the elixir room? Sima Yue asked. People like you can refine pills in my small pill refining room, but if you don't have a teacher to guide you, you'll be accepted as a disciple. You can only go to the pill refining room to get in touch. However, when those alchemists have nothing to do, they will go to the pill room and answer questions for the students. Su Jin said. Will you go? Of course I don't want to go. Su Jin looked rather helpless. But that old guy wants me to go at least twice a week. Principal Yuan. That's him. Su Jin sighed. Those people are really stupid. They're not like Xiao Xiao and the others, who can understand with just a little bit. Those students often have to explain things clearly to them. Every time, it wastes my time. But you still tell them in detail every time. Han Miao Shuang said as she nibbled on a spirit fruit. If I don't teach them well, that old guy wants me to be the dean. I don't want it. Su Jin proudly said, although I go there every week, it's still better than being the department head. Many alchemists with masters also practice in the alchemy room and discuss alchemy with other alchemists. Xiao Xiao said as she packed up. Sima Yue did not expect the inner yard to be so open. She thought that she would be locked in the classroom every day. Little junior brother, when are you going to make other food for us? How about we eat barbecued meat tonight? Han Miao Shuang came over and smiled flatteringly. It's already past noon. Sima Yue said, also, I've said that I didn't become teacher's disciple. I'm not your junior brother. You can just call me Yue. She did not acknowledge Su Jin as her master, so she was not their junior brother. Although she had Feng Zhixing and Old Man Devil as her masters, they were not in the same field, so it didn't matter. But Su Jin was also an alchemist. Without Old Man Devil's permission, she could not acknowledge anyone else as her master. This was a form of respect for Old Man Devil. Su Xiaoxiao and Han Miao Shuang turned to look at Su Jin. Su Jin took out a sound stone and threw it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue picked it up doubtfully and inserted spirit energy into it. Good disciple, I know that you definitely won't acknowledge Su Jin as your master. This guy still doesn't believe it. Old Man Devil's voice came from the sound stone. I'm very happy to have such a good disciple like you. But I'm always outside and haven't taught you much. Once alchemy breaks through the 6th grade and enters the 7th grade, it will be very difficult in the future. It's good to have someone by your side to teach you. And although this guy is a little worse than me in the past, he's still considered pretty good among the alchemists. So you should acknowledge him as your second master. Remember that he's your second master. You, stop right there, Old Man Devil shouted from behind, and then there was no more sound. After Sima Yue finished listening to the recording, she got up and knelt down in front of Su Jin. Disciple greets second master. Get up. Su Jin was very dissatisfied with the way she addressed him as second master. But he had no choice. Old Man Devil had already taken the position of great master many years ago. I told you. You'll definitely be our little junior brother. Su Xiaoxiao smiled honestly. Sima Yue got up. Second master, why do you have master's message? I met him when I went out a while ago. Su Jin said. But how did you meet him? Sima Yue asked anxiously. Divine Devil Valley hadn't heard any news of Old Man Devil for a long time. How did Su Jin meet him? Inner region, Hong residence. Su Jin didn't hide it. Master, I'll leave for a while. Sima Yue said and ran out. Kong Junchul was dozing off on the chair. When he saw Sima Yue running out in a hurry, his eyelids lifted slightly. Who's his master? I didn't expect him to have a master. How's his alchemy skills? Not worse than you guys. Su Jin said bluntly. Kong Junchul raised his eyebrows and opened his eyes completely. Those who were familiar with him knew what he was interested in. Master, are you kidding? Little junior brother is still so young. Han Miao Shuang didn't believe that Sima Yue's alchemy skills could be compared to theirs. I think he's very willing to discuss alchemy with you guys. Su Jin said. Little junior brother is only 20 or 30 years old. His alchemy skills are already on par with us? Su Xiaoxiao was so surprised that his hands stopped moving. Your talents used to be special. But after meeting him, you have no choice but to accept it. Su Jin said. If that's the case, we have to discuss it properly with little junior brother. Kong Junchul's eyelids were about to close again. How's your practice of the diverse refinement method? Su Jin asked. 8 types of normal herbs. 4 types of troublesome herbs. Kong Junchul replied. 6 types of normal herbs. 3 types of troublesome herbs. Han Miao Shuang said. Su Xiaoxiao touched the back of his head. I have the least. 6 types of normal herbs. Only 2 types of troublesome herbs. Then what's your shortest time to refine the green lotus pill? Su Jin asked again. 5 hours. Su Xiaoxiao was the first to answer. I'm about the same. Han Miao Shuang said. 4.5 hours. Kong Junchul said, has he refined this pill before? Su Jin rolled his eyes at his 3 disciples and said, the 3 of you are either eating or sleeping. If not, you're cleaning in the courtyard. Don't you care about what's going on outside? The inner sex assessment this time is to refine a green lotus pill. Master, don't keep us in suspense. Tell us quickly. What kind of results did little junior brother achieve? Han Miao Shuang urged. Chapter 639. She was late. When she arrived at the exam hall, there were only 3.5 hours left. Sujin said, "How is that possible?" Han Miao Shuang cried out, "Refining the green lotus pill in 3.5 hours? Master, are you sure you didn't get the time wrong? Am I such a carefree person?" Su Jin glared at her and continued, "She was able to refine the green lotus pill in such a short time because of her various refining methods. The most I've seen of her was that she threw in 10 types of medicinal herbs at once." 10 types? Han Miao Shuang and Su Xiaoxiao gasped. Kang Junchul's eyes lit up. Eldest senior brother can only refine 8 types of medicinal herbs at the same time, but she can actually refine 10. Could it be that her alchemy grade is higher than eldest senior brother's? Su Xiaoxiao exclaimed. That's not necessarily true. Su Jin said, there's no direct relationship between the various refining methods and grades. Junja has been practicing for so many years, his age is just a fraction of his. But even if I can't compare, I don't think I'm too far off. Look at you guys. Instead of practicing properly, you're either eating or sleeping all day long. Now you've been surpassed by others. I've decided. Han Miao Shuang stood up from the chair and startled Sima Yue, who had just walked into the courtyard. Senior sister, what have you decided? Sima Yue walked over and asked. I've decided I want to see you refine pills. Han Miao Shuang placed her hands on her waist and said. Sima Yue looked at the others. Why did they look at her differently after she went out for a while? Han Miao Shuang walked over and hooked her arm around her neck, asking, Little junior brother, tell me honestly, what grade of pill are you refining now? 7. What's wrong? Sima Yue looked at Han Miao Shuang in confusion. How old are you? Su Xiaoxiao asked. I'll be 30 soon. She rubbed her nose. 30 years old. On Earth, she would be considered an old leftover woman. But here, in the thousands of years of life, she was just like a baby. Han Miao Shuang was so frustrated that she couldn't speak. She patted Sima Yu's shoulder and said, When I was 30 years old, I just became a 5th-grade alchemist. At that time, I thought I was very powerful. But now it seems that I was too arrogant. Fortunately, you are my junior brother. Otherwise, I would want to slap you to death. I can't be reckless anymore. I have to practice properly. I'm really jealous of you. Senior sister? Sima Yue was speechless. Where was the jealousy in this guy's eyes? I've decided. Han Miao Shuang let go of Sima Yue and said, I'm not eating tonight, I'm going to refine pills. After saying that, she really left and walked towards the alchemy room. I'm going too. Kang Junchul felt threatened for the first time. In Han Miao Shuang's words, fortunately, he was his junior brother. Otherwise, he might really want to slap her to death. Master, the courtyard is ready. I'm going to refine pills too. After Su Xiaoxiao finished packing, he bowed to Su Jin and left. Sima Yue saw that the courtyard was suddenly empty. She didn't expect that her appearance would stimulate them to refine pills. She looked at Su Jin. He must have told them about her, that's why they were like this. You informed Divine Devil Valley? Su Jin automatically blocked her suspicious gaze. Senior uncle has been worried about Master's whereabouts. But he couldn't contact him. Why did Master go to the inner regions? Something happened, he went to settle it. Su Jin obviously didn't want to say more about this. If there's nothing else, I'll go back to my room. Sima Yue said. How can there be nothing? Su Jin stood up from the chair, stretched his waist and said, Let's go, I'll take you to see the director. You took such a long leave and only came back now. Naturally, you have to see him. I'll take you to walk around the academy while I'm at it. Sima Yue followed Su Jin out. Those people outside didn't dare to go forward when they saw her. This Su Jin was the most difficult and special teacher in the inner sect. He and Hong Fa were known as the two freaks of the inner sect. No one should provoke them. Sima Yue looked at those people and sighed in her heart. Then she swaggered away. Su Jin took her directly to the director's office. When the director saw her, his eyes flashed. Then he smiled and threw a box to Su Jin. Su Jin took it and passed it to her. She opened the lid and saw a thin book inside. There was also a token and a rare spirit stone. The spirit stone is your cultivation resource and the token is your identity. As for that book, you should study it properly when you go back. The director said. Sima Yue took out the book and flipped to the title page. When she saw the words on it, her mouth couldn't help but twitch. Inner sect rules. This, everyone has a copy? She waved the book in her hand and asked. No, only a few students have it. The director said. At the same time, he added a sentence in his heart, only those students who like to cause trouble have it. And Sima Yue had already been placed in the group of students who liked to cause trouble. Sima Yue also guessed it and rolled her eyes in her heart. He was clearly innocent. The matter was instigated by the Thunderbolt Club. Although that person was crippled, he asked for it. How did he become a problematic student? Old Mao, you just gave Yue a spirit stone and sent her away? What about those things? Su Jin directly stretched out his hand towards Mao Sanquan. Nothing. Mao Sanquan waved his hand at Su Jin. You know that those things can only be used when a new student enters. She missed the opportunity and those things have already been sealed. Even if it's sealed, it can still be opened. Su Jin didn't agree. But that blood pool is useless to her. Why do you have to violate the school rules? Mao Sanquan said, as for the spirit pagoda, you know that it has already been used up by the new students. Su Jin looked at Sima Yue. He could also see that Sima Yue's body was stronger than the average person. He guessed that the blood pool really was useless to her. As the most outstanding student in the school, shouldn't the school show some appreciation when she enters the school? Those people soaked in the blood pool and went into seclusion in the cultivation pagoda. They can't not give her anything, right? Su Jin acted shamelessly. Even if the blood pool is useless to her, it's always good to soak in it. Don't you think so, old Mao? Didn't we give her the spirit stone? Mao Sanquan glared at him. Just one spirit stone. Tell me, do you like it or not? Su Jin student, do you think she lacks spirit stones? If you want to give her something, give her a better one. Su Jin walked to Mao Sanquan's desk and sat down. He didn't have the image of a teacher at all. He looked no different from a hoodlum. Chapter 640. Mao Sanquan, on the other hand, was used to his behavior. Seeing his half-smile, he took out a small box from his space ring and threw it to Sima Yue. This is my personal compensation to you. Sima Yue opened the box and saw a blood-red spirit stone inside. Judging by its color, she could tell that it was very valuable. If she were to absorb the spiritual power contained within it, she was afraid that the effect would not be any worse than if she were to cultivate in the cultivation pagoda for a month. Su Jin glanced at the spirit stones. Seeing that they weren't bad, he smiled and said, Old Mao, you really have a lot of good things. Yue, since Director Mao gave it to you, you should keep it. Sima Yue put away all the things she had just received and said to Mao Sanquan, Thank you, Director Mao. Cultivate well. In the future, this world will belong to you youngsters. Mao Sanquan lectured. I'm from the student union, Sima Yue said respectfully. All right, if there's nothing else, quickly disappear from my sight. Mao Sanquan urged Su Jin. Director Mao, I have something to ask you, Sima Yue said. Mao Sanquan was a little surprised, but he still smiled and said, Ask me, what is it? It's like this. I have a younger brother who entered the inner courtyard more than a year ago. However, my elder brother said that there was no news about him, so I wanted to inquire about his whereabouts. Sima Yue said. What's his name? Mao Sanquan asked. Little Tuesday, Mao Sanquan's eyes flashed with surprise. He's your younger brother. He's not my biological brother, but he's been living with us ever since we saved him from the bad guys a few years ago. We all treat him as our brother. Sima Yue said. He's not in the academy right now. Mao Sanquan said, don't ask me where he is, I don't know either. This matter is being handled by Vice Principal Fan. What's wrong with Little Two? Sima Yue asked worriedly. Don't worry, he should be fine. Mao Sanquan said. Director Mao, what happened to Little Two? When he was cultivating in the blood pool, I don't know why, but the spirit beast bloodline in his body completely awakened, and his body was unable to withstand the power of the bloodline. Mao Sanquan explained. So when he left, it was very dangerous. I don't know what's going on now. Previously, the vice principal had already sent back news that his condition had stabilized. However, there has been no news for the past year. Mao Sanquan replied. No news is good news. Su Jin said, I've seen that little fellow of yours. His body is still okay, so he shouldn't die that easily. Sima Yu's heart was choked by his straightforward words, but she subconsciously believed his words. Alright, let's go. Don't disturb old Mao here. Su Jin got down from Mao Sanquan's desk and turned to leave. Oh right, Principal Yuan will be back in a few months. Mao Sanquan's voice made Su Jin stop in his tracks. He shrugged and said, he's finally coming back after being gone for so long. What's wrong with his head? Mao Sanquan glanced at Sima Yue without a trace, then his gaze landed in the distance. He faintly said, something happened that he had to come back to deal with, so he had to come back. In short, you have to work hard. Don't let him deal with you as soon as he comes back. I know. If there's nothing else, let's go. Su Jin impatiently waved his hand, as if he wasn't happy about the news of Principal Yuan's return. Sima Yue followed him out. Seeing his dejected look, she couldn't help but ask, you don't have a good relationship with Principal Yuan? Su Jin shook his head. If they didn't have a good relationship, he would have left long ago. Why would he stay here for so many years just because he promised him? You have a good relationship with Principal Yuan? She asked again. Su Jin nodded, then shook his head. Then he looked at the sky at a 45-degree angle and sighed sadly. He originally said that he would bring Sima Yue around, but now he wasn't in the mood. He brought her back to the courtyard and told her to do whatever she wanted. Then he went back to his room, leaving her confused. Little junior brother, it's good that you're back. Let's discuss the problem of alchemy. Han Miao Shuang came out of the alchemy room and saw Sima Yue standing in the courtyard. She waved at her. Sima Yue walked over and said, Second senior sister, aren't you refining pills? Yeah, I refined one furnace and failed. So I didn't continue. Han Miao Shuang said, Why are you standing in the courtyard like a fool? Second senior sister, I want to ask you something. All right, go ahead. How's the relationship between Master and Principal Yuan? Very good. Han Miao Shuang nodded. Then why did his mood change so drastically when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? The sunny day suddenly turned into a rainy day. He was so depressed. He said that he would bring me to transfer schools, but he didn't go in the end. He brought me back. Sima Yue said. When is Principal Yuan coming back? Han Miao Shuang blinked her eyes and asked curiously. Instructor Mao didn't say. Sima Yue said, No, second senior sister. This isn't the main point. The main point is why did Master become like this when he heard that Principal Yuan was coming back? About that, don't bother about him. He's conflicted. It'll be fine once he's conflicted. Han Miao Shuang said, Come and see for me. Why do my pills always fail at this step? What's Master conflicted about? Sima Yue didn't understand. Every time Principal Yuan was coming back, Master would be happier. But Principal Yuan would always bring him out to teach him a lesson. Then he would catch him for his bad work and tell him not to be arrogant. He shouldn't ignore the students. He shouldn't always quarrel with the students' teachers. So every time he hears that Principal Yuan was coming back, he's always like this. He wants him to come back but doesn't want him to come back. Just pretend that you didn't see it. Han Miao Shuang picked up the herbs and said casually. Sima Yue pursed her lips. She was worried about him just now. It turned out that he was conflicted about this. That's why he was so depressed. Thinking about little two, she started to worry again. She didn't know how he was doing now. Little junior brother, don't think about it. Come and see where I went wrong. Han Miao Shuang saw that Sima Yue was still in a daze and urged her. Sima Yue walked over and leaned towards her pill furnace. She put her nose to the side of the pill furnace and sniffed carefully. She asked curiously, "Second senior sister, do you refine pills like this every time?" "Yeah, what?" Han Miao Shuang nodded. "I'm really curious. How did you survive until now?" Chapter 641. Han Miao Shuang was shocked by Sima Yue's roar, but she didn't understand why she was so angry. "Little junior brother, is there a problem?" Sima Yue took out the herbs and said, "Refine it again. Then I'll tell you what's wrong." "You really saw through it." Han Miao Shuang looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. She knew that there was a problem just by smelling the residue of her own refinement. This was a huge blow to her. "You have to refine it first so that I can confirm if it is what I think it is," Sima Yue said. "All right then." Han Miao Shuang refined the herbs again. Sima Yue watched her refining technique from the side. She didn't expect her to know so many refining techniques, but her divine sense wasn't strong enough, so she didn't refine much each time. Although Han Miao Shuang loved to eat and her personality was a little cheerful, once she started refining pills, her entire person changed. He was quite similar to Fatty Chu in this aspect. When they started refining, Sima Yue didn't say anything. But when Han Miao Shuang started fusing, she stared at her closely. Moreover, it was far away. Sure enough, half an hour later, some restless noises began to come from the pill furnace. Then, there was a loud explosion, and the lid of the pill furnace was lifted. As for Han Miao Shuang, she had congealed a protective layer the moment the explosion occurred, and she had retreated far away. Sima Yue took a look. When the furnace exploded, the furnace and the alchemy room were protected by a layer of faint ripples. Sima Yue watched as Han Miao Shuang condensed the protective layer and jumped out of the explosion range in one go. She sighed at how fast her reaction was. Han Miao Shuang chuckled and said, "I've experienced this many times, it's already become a conditioned reflex. This pill furnace is actually fine." She walked over and looked at the pill furnace that had returned to normal. She was a little curious. This pill furnace has an array engraved on it. This room also has an array. Once an explosion occurs, it will automatically activate. Han Miao Shuang explained. "Little junior brother, can you tell? I've been stuck here for a long time. If I still can't figure out the problem, I can only go to Master." "Have you never looked for your master?" Sima Yue asked. "Didn't Master go out a while ago? After he came back, he was nowhere to be seen." Han Miao Shuang said, "Usually, when we encounter this kind of situation, we will look for the problem ourselves, then look for eldest senior brother. If even he can't solve it, then we will look for Master." "I see." Sima Yue nodded. "How is it? Have you found out where my problem lies?" Han Miao Shuang asked. "Actually, your question is very simple." "What's this?" Sima Yue picked up a pale yellow flower. "Sanzi flower. How about this?" Sima Yue took out another stalk. "Fern roots." Could it be that these two medicinal properties are conflicting? Han Miao Shuang looked at the three-seed flower and fern soil root in her hands and looked at her in confusion. One is of the wood attribute, the other is of the earth attribute. The two don't clash. It's not a problem of the medicinal properties clashing. Sima Yue said, "These two medicinal herbs are supposed to complement each other. Usually, when they are together, they will increase the efficacy of each other." But Han Miao Shuang was even more confused. "The problem lies in this." Sima Yue raised the fern soil root in her hands. "Fern soil root? Why is it this? Many 7th-ranked pills use it." Han Miao Shuang said. "That's right, but the three-seed flower is rarely used." Sima Yue said. "The fern soil root's medicinal properties are mild, it plays a supporting role in many pills and can increase the success rate. But it won't work here. Because of the three-seed flower? The three-seed flower and the fern soil root have a similarity, that is, the medicinal properties change. Sima Yue said, after the three-seed flower is refined, the wood attribute will decrease, and the water attribute will increase. As for the fern soil root, the earth attribute contains the fire attribute. If it is refined for a long time, the earth attribute will evaporate, leaving behind the fire attribute. When the water and fire meet, and there is no harmonization, it would be strange if the furnace doesn't explode. Han Miao Shuang slapped her forehead. So it's like this. Some medicinal herbs will change their attributes during the refining process. I knew this before, but I didn't expect to forget about it. Thank you, junior brother. If it wasn't for you, I would still be doing useless work. This medicinal herb doesn't change much, and it's even rarer to encounter two at the same time. It's normal that senior sister didn't think of it immediately. Sima Yue said. Han Miao Shuang looked at the medicinal herbs and smiled happily. Now that we know where the problem lies, it's easy to handle. She excitedly cleaned up the residue and took out another set of medicinal herbs to refine. This time, she took an extra set of medicinal herbs to harmonize the conflicting attributes. Sima Yue watched from the side. This Han Miao Shuang was indeed Su Jin's favorite disciple. Once the problem was pointed out, she immediately knew how to deal with it. Every step was very strict and handled perfectly. That was why she succeeded on her first try. Han Miao Shuang looked at the two pills in her hand and shook her head in disappointment. It's still a little lacking during the fusion. Otherwise, I would be able to refine 3 pills. Senior sister, you succeeded on your first try. The fusion is close to perfection. I believe you will be able to refine 3 pills on your second try. Sima Yue smiled and comforted her. Hearing Sima Yue's words, Han Miao Shuang was no longer conflicted. Anyway, she wasn't a super genius like Kong Junshul. She didn't need to compete with anyone. Senior sister, I'll go out first. She had seen it and roughly knew Han Miao Shuang's strength. Junior brother, what are you planning to do? Watching senior sister refine pills made my hands itch. I'll go back and refine 2 batches of pills to try it out. Sima Yue said. Anyway, you're going to practice. Why don't you practice here? We can discuss if there's anything. Han Miao Shuang hurriedly said. Sima Yue saw her blinking eyes and knew that she wanted to see how she would refine pills. Since they were from the same sect, and she didn't stop her from looking at her, it wasn't a big deal to show her how to refine pills. She nodded and said, all right, then I'll practice here. If there's anything wrong, senior sister can point it out to me. What kind of pills does junior brother want to refine? Why don't you refine what I did just now? I still have the medicinal herbs. Han Miao Shuang said. Senior sister, that's a high-grade pill among the 7th-grade pills. I can't refine it now. If I were to refine it, I'd end up wasting a batch of medicinal herbs. Sima Yue said. Han Miao Shuang thought about it and agreed. No matter how powerful Sima Yue was, she couldn't have broken through to the 8th grade so quickly. The pill that she refined just now couldn't be refined without the strength of an 8th grade. Then what do you plan to refine? Chapter 642. Sima Yue walked around the room where the medicinal ingredients were stored. She saw that these medicinal ingredients, together with the ones she had, were just enough to refine a minor origin pill. Hence, she took out all the medicinal ingredients. New dagger chi tong dagger. Here this minor elemental pill was a 7th grade pill. The refining process was relatively simple, but it required a strong mental strength to refine. Furthermore, this pill could be consumed by both humans and spirit beasts. Last time, Shui Qing Man was cured after consuming this pill. Since there were medicinal herbs here, she refined 2 portions and carried them with her. In the future, if anyone was seriously injured, they could use it to save their lives. You want to refine a small origin pill? Han Miao Shuang saw the herbs she chose and knew what she wanted to refine. This little origin pill isn't that easy to refine. No, you're a 7th grade alchemist. Sima Yue was shocked by her scream. Senior sister, you scared me. You're the one who scared me. Han Miao Shuang said, you're actually a 7th-ranked alchemist. At that time, the green lotus pill that she refined during the assessment was a 6th-grade medicinal pill. They all thought that it was amazing for her to become a 6th-grade alchemist at her age. Most of the other people who entered the inner courtyard were over 100 years old. But he didn't expect her to be a 7th-grade alchemist. 7th grade? How many alchemists could only reach 7th grade in their entire lives, and she had already reached it at the age of 30. Senior sister, I am a 7th grade alchemist. You don't have to be so surprised. Sima Yue said. You're still not surprised? In the past, the 3 of us always thought that our talents were the best. Eldest senior brother was the most powerful one here. However, he only entered the 7th grade when he was 100 years old. I only became a 7th grade alchemist when I was 130 years old. Xiao Xiao was more than 150. Your talent? Han Miao Shuang felt that she had been deeply provoked today. Compared to her, they were so many streets ahead of her. Su Xiao Xiao, who had just finished refining pills, was attracted by Han Miao Shuang's voice. Knowing that Sima Yue was already a 7th grade alchemist, his jaw dropped so wide that a fist could be stuffed in. Kong Junchul had just come out of his pill refining room when he heard the commotion. He subconsciously walked over. Senior sister, I was only able to achieve such results because of some opportunities. Sima Yue said. Strictly speaking, she didn't really become a 7th grade alchemist in her 20s or 30s, because she spent most of her time in the Spirit Pagoda. It looked like many years from the outside, but in reality, she spent a little more time. Furthermore, she had started under Mo Sha's guidance. Back then, Mo Sha was also a famous alchemist in the 3 realms and was acknowledged by the 3 realms. Although her talent wasn't bad, the experience of 3 lifetimes plus the cultivation of the soul refining art made her soul force many times stronger than others. This was very important for alchemy and array formation. If it weren't for all these, she wouldn't have been able to achieve what she did at her current age. No matter what the reason is, the end result is that you have such results now. Han Miao Shuang said. That's right. Su Xiaoxiao agreed. Have you refined the little origin pill before? Kong Junchul asked. I've refined it before. I used 3 sets of ingredients and only succeeded once. Sima Yue said, so I want to practice a few more times to become more familiar with it. Junior brother, then you refine it. We'll watch from the side. Su Xiaoxiao said. Xiaoxiao, I remember that you refined this pill more than 10 times and only succeeded once? Han Miao Shuang said. Su Xiaoxiao scratched his head embarrassedly and said, yes, I was scolded by master at that time. Look at junior brother, he succeeded in 3 tries. Han Miao Shuang patted his shoulder. Xiaoxiao, work hard. Didn't you succeed after 5 or 6 tries? You still scolded me. Su Xiaoxiao said. The steps to refine the little origin pill aren't too complicated, but it requires strong control of mental strength. If your mental strength isn't up to par, it's naturally impossible. So even if some alchemists have been in the 7th grade for a long time, they might not be able to refine the little origin pill. Kong Junchul leaned against the door and said, Xiao Zhao's weakest point is his mental strength. That's why he failed so many times. Su Xiaoxiao scratched the back of his head and said embarrassedly, I've been cultivating my mental strength according to master's instructions. It's much better now. Junior brother, are you ready? If you're ready, then let's start. We can't wait. Han Miao Shuang urged. Sima Yue had been counting the ingredients while they were talking. When she heard Han Miao Shuang urging her, she smiled and said, Senior sister, haste makes waste. Although she said that, she still put the ingredients away and took out her own pill furnace. She placed a flame at the bottom and began to preheat it. She waited until the pill furnace's temperature was about right before she began to refine the ingredients. Her refining method was different from theirs. Although it was the same refining method, it was faster than theirs. The purity of the refining was also higher. Time passed bit by bit. Refining, fusing, condensing pills. Every step was carried out in an orderly manner. With the previous experience, she successfully refined the pills this time. However, she didn't have the same realm as before. The pills she refined weren't as good as the last time and didn't attract a pill tribulation. However, the quantity increased by 1. She looked at the pills in her hand and knew that not all pills would attract a pill tribulation. Junior brother's refining method is so special. There are many areas that are more detailed than ours. Su Xiaoxiao said excitedly, "Junior brother, can I watch you refine pills more often in the future?" "Sure," Sima Yue replied. Anyway, they were very quiet when they watched her refine pills. It didn't matter if they were there or not. "Thank you, junior brother," Su Xiaoxiao said happily. They learned a lot from Su Jin when it came to refining pills, so it was more or less the same. Now that there was a newcomer, and such a strong newcomer, it was as if they were injected with new blood. "Your pill refining rate has always been 100%? Kong Junchul asked. "Usually, after refining successfully, there are very few failures. However, it's not 100%. That's still very high," Han Miao Shuang said. After watching her refine pills, they couldn't help but be convinced by Su Jin's vision. This junior brother's strength wasn't just for show. "I have some understanding. I'll go and reflect on it." Kong Junchul finished speaking and left. "I also feel that the areas that I didn't understand before seem to be cleared up. I'll go too." Su Xiaoxiao also left. Sima Yue tidied up the pill furnace and said to Han Miao Shuang, "Senior sister, do you want to continue refining pills or go back to rest?" Han Miao Shuang looked at her pill furnace. Her heart that originally wanted to eat meat was shaken. "I'll continue refining pills." "All right then. I originally wanted to make some barbecued meat. Since senior sister isn't free, I'll go by myself." Chapter 643. Han Miao Shuang's eyes lit up when she heard that there was food. She immediately corrected herself. "We've been refining for the entire day. It's almost dawn now. Let's rest and eat something. We'll have the energy to continue tomorrow." The food they ate during the day was so delicious, so the barbecued meat must be good as well. Thinking of barbecued meat, she felt like she was about to drool. Sima Yue looked at her greedy face and laughed, saying, "We can't cook in the courtyard now." "It's all right, I have a place." Han Miao Shuang smiled mysteriously. Half an hour later, the two of them arrived at a valley. "This place is not bad." Sima Yue looked at the quiet valley. It was a good place to eat secretly. "Where is this?" "This is the mountain behind the academy. Usually, very few people come here. I used to come here whenever I wanted to eat." Han Miao Shuang said. "Why are we here, not at your place?" Sima Yu took out the tools to barbecue the meat, and Han Miao's eyes widened. "In the past, I used to cook in the courtyard, but after Xiao Xiao came, I rarely ate. You know, he's a neat freak. If I make it too dirty, he'll fly into a rage. Just like what happened this morning." Han Miao Shuang said helplessly. "After that, I often went out to eat. Sometimes when I wanted to do it myself, I couldn't just find a random place. After all, there were quite a few students in the academy. That's why I came here. This place is not far from the school. Aren't you afraid of being seen by other students?" Sima Yue asked. "Otherwise, I wouldn't have chosen this place," Han Miao Shuang said with certainty. "Senior sister, are you so sure?" "Of course, the academy's forbidden area is just a little further away, so very few people come here. Those who came were all unusual people, so they didn't dare to tell anyone that I was eating here. Otherwise, isn't it obvious that we've been to the forbidden area?" Han Miao Shuang said with a smile. When she saw Sima Yue take out a lot of meat and put it aside, she said in surprise, "Yue, why do you still have so much meat on you?" "I used to hang out with my brother and friends. I always liked to cook." Sima Yue smiled. "They're so lucky," Han Miao Shuang said enviously. "Since we've been together all the time, everyone knows how to cook now." "I'm not the one who cooks every time," Sima Yue explained. "Then, are they also good at cooking?" "The craftsmanship is indeed not bad. But there are only a few who are good, and the rest are just assistants. Then bring them over to play next time. Han Miao Shuang said with a smile. Sure. Sima Yuyue agreed readily. It was good that Bei Gong and the rest knew her. Great. In the future, when you don't have time, you can find them to make food for me. Han Miao Shuang clapped her hands. It was decided. Sima Yue felt like she had accidentally sold them off. Senior sister, since you like to eat so much, don't you know how to make it? I only know how to roast meat. Han Miao Shuang said, so every time I hunt, I come here to roast meat. The others won't. What about when you want to eat it? Let's eat outside. I used to look for food everywhere. Later on, I opened Memory Restaurant, and I often go there to eat. I even got a membership card, and I get a discount every time. Han Miao Shuang said happily, little junior brother, have you eaten at Memory Restaurant before? If you haven't, I'll bring you there next time. Sima Yue saw how excited she was, and wondered if she should tell her that it was hers now. Senior sister, why do you like to eat so much? She took out a metal skewer and started to skewer the meat. Han Miao Shuang came to help, and her movements were very practiced. Actually, it's a shadow from when I was young. Han Miao Shuang said, at that time, I was only 10 years old. I didn't reach the stage where I didn't need to eat. Once, I was locked in a small dark room for 7 to 8 days. I didn't eat or drink. When I came out, I was almost dead. At that time, I was so hungry that I couldn't let go of the hunger. Even if I didn't need to eat later on, it was still the same. So later on I liked to eat. Every time my stomach was stuffed to the brim, I felt so happy. Sima Yue saw the smile on her face and could understand how she felt when she was young. She also understood why she liked to eat so much. Senior sister, do you often go out to eat? That's right. Memory Restaurant is the place I go the most now. Han Miao Shuang said, but although we have a few more chances to go out than other students, and can go out once a month, it's still not enough. So I can only do it myself. But I really want to eat Memory Restaurant's food. What does senior sister want to eat? Braised lion's head. Saliva chicken. Han Miao Shuang answered without thinking. Then you don't want to eat barbecued meat? I do. Han Miao Shuang said, barbecued meat can be eaten now. Braised lion's head and saliva chicken are what I want to eat. Sigh, it's a pity that there's still a long time left. I don't know how long I have to endure before I can eat it. But now that you're here, I don't have to eat barbecued meat all the time. Sima Yue skewered the meat. The charcoal on the barbecue rack was already burning and the rack was hot. She placed the meat skewers on top to barbecued, then placed all the seasonings at the side. Little junior brother, you have so many seasonings. I only have half of yours. Han Miao Shuang said. If you want the food to taste good, these seasonings are indispensable. Sima Yue said, I'll give senior sister some later. Han Miao Shuang nodded quickly. As time passed, the aroma of the barbecued meat slowly spread. Seeing Sima Yue placing the seasonings one by one, Han Miao Shuang felt that her saliva was about to flow out. Sima Yue placed the barbecued meat on a plate. Han Miao Shuang couldn't wait to take the plate over. She picked up a skewer and smelled it, saying, Little junior brother, you smell so fragrant. It'll definitely taste better when you eat it. She tore the meat off in one bite. The boiling temperature made her exhale uncontrollably, shouting that it was so hot. Senior sister, no one will snatch it from you tonight. Eat slowly. Sima Yue picked up a few skewers of raw meat and placed them on the rack. Then she started barbecuing again. At the same time, she took out a piece of meat and onions, ginger and garlic. She turned the barbecued meat twice before chopping it. Then, she looked at the time and turned the barbecued meat again. After Han Miao Shuang finished the barbecued meat in her hand, she saw Sima Yue chopping the meat and asked, Little junior brother, what are you chopping meat for? Making braised lion's head. Didn't you say you wanted to eat it? Sima Yue said. You know how to make braised lion's head? Han Miao Shuang exclaimed. Sima Yue said, you turn the barbecued meat. I'll take out the chicken and stew it. You're not going to make the spit? Han Miao Shuang felt that she was too blessed tonight. Who's there? Sima Yue suddenly shouted towards Han Miao Shuang's back. Han Miao Shuang also felt that someone was there. She turned around and stared at the shadow not far away. Chapter 644. Sima Yue put down the things in her hands and looked over there. Who's sneaking around? She and Han Miao Shuang didn't act rashly because they could feel that the other party's strength was higher than theirs. They waited for a while, but there was no movement. However, they didn't dare to lower their guard because they didn't see anyone leave. Sima Yue rolled her eyes and stopped looking there. She said to Han Miao Shuang, "Senior sister, it's time to add seasoning to the barbecue." Han Miao Shuang passed the barbecued meat to Sima Yue. She picked up the seasoning at the side and started brushing it. The aroma immediately spread throughout the valley. After roasting for a while, Sima Yue placed the roasted meat on a plate and said, "Senior sister, here you go." Han Miao Shuang took the plate and brought it to the side to eat. Sima Yue wasn't in a hurry to continue roasting. She took out a jar of fruit wine and threw it to Han Miao Shuang. Han Miao Shuang opened the seal, and the aroma of wine and spirit fruits wafted out. "Wow, it smells good." Han Miao Shuang hugged the wine jar and took a sip, sighing in satisfaction. "Little junior brother, how did you get Memory Restaurant's fruit wine?" "Because I'm the one who brewed this." Sima Yue took out a processed chicken and put it into the pot. She added some water and covered it properly. Then she lit a flame at the bottom of the pot and left it there. Han Miao Shuang wanted to ask more, but Sima Yue gave her a look, so she swallowed her words and said, "Little junior brother, this wine goes well with the roasted meat. It feels so good. Can you roast some more for me?" "I'm not grilling tonight. You can finish those skewers," Sima Yue said. "Me too." As soon as her voice fell, a tender voice floated over from the shadow just now. Then a small figure rushed over and sat beside Han Miao Shuang, snatching the plate in her hand. Han Miao Shuang looked at the little girl sitting beside her and was stunned. "Who are you?" Sima Yue did not expect that the one hiding there was actually a little girl. Looking at the way she wolfed down the food, as if she had not eaten for hundreds of years, her heart softened. "Eat slowly, don't burn yourself." "Woo woo." The little girl ignored her and only lowered her head to eat the barbecued meat. She did not feel that the barbecued meat was hot at all. When she was done eating, she raised her head and looked at Sima Yue. Her gaze told her that she wanted more. "No more." Sima Yue understood her gaze and pointed to the raw meat that had not been roasted yet. "If you want to eat it, you have to roast it now." "You roast it?" The little girl bared her teeth and said, "Or I'll eat you." "If you eat me, no one will cook for you." Sima Yue said. "Then I won't eat you." "You roast it." The little girl put away her fierce look and turned into a cute little doll. "But I don't know you, why should I roast it for you?" Sima Yue teased her. The little girl tilted her head and thought for a while. Suddenly, she took out something as thick as a forearm and handed it to her. "I'll use this carrot to exchange with you, okay?" "This is a carrot?" Sima Yue's mouth twitched. This was obviously a 1,000-year-old crystal ginseng. "I don't know what it is either, but it's similar to a carrot, so I called it a carrot." The little girl said. "Many people wanted it at that time. How about it, I'll use this to exchange with you. You roast meat for me." Sima Yue saw her pure gaze and suddenly felt that she should not tease her. "Keep this for yourself. I'll cook for you." She touched the little girl's head and said. The little girl wanted to bite her because of her action. But when she thought that if she bit her, there would be no one to cook for her, she controlled herself. "Exchange." She stuffed the crystal ginseng into Sima Yue's hands. She did not want to take advantage of her. Sima Yue placed the crystal ginseng in her hands again. "This thing is very precious. You'll be at a disadvantage if you use it to exchange for food. I only have this." The little girl said. "Take it. I have a lot more." "You have a lot of this?" Sima Yue and Han Miao Shuang were surprised. "I don't have many of these carrots, but I have other carrots." The little girl said. "Then can you show me your other carrots?" Sima Yue asked. You don't want this? The little girl thought for a while. She thought that Sima Yue did not want this. She took out a bunch of rare herbs and placed them on the table. Which one do you want? Choose it yourself. Sima Yue saw the things she took out and said in surprise, Why do you have so many herbs? I found them myself. There are so many in this mountain. I can find a lot if I go out. The little girl said. Do you want this? Why do you have so many herbs? Sima Yue pressed her hand back, indicating that she did not want her things. To eat, the little girl said as she took out a crystal ginseng and took a bite. Then she spat it out. It doesn't taste good. You eat this? Han Miao Shuang widened her eyes. Yes, I used to eat this, the little girl said. Then she complained again. It doesn't taste good. You barbecued meat for me. I'll give you this. Sima Yue looked at the little girl in confusion. She did not know who she was. She could swallow the herbs directly and not be hurt by the strong medicinal effects? She thought that she was so young and had more power than her. She thought that she was a transformed spirit beast. But she did not feel the aura of a spirit beast. So she was not sure. What's your name? Little Seven. Little Seven, you play here with Sister Miao Shuang. I'll make braised lion's head for you. Sima Yue said. Braised lion's head? There's no lion here. Little Seven looked around. She did not see a lion. There was not even a lion's fur. You'll know in a while. Sima Yue reached out and scratched Little Seven's nose. Oh right, junior brother. I haven't finished talking. How do you know Memory Restaurant's unique dishes? Han Miao Shuang thought of the question that was interrupted. Now that she mentioned the braised lion's head, she thought of this question again. Because I taught them. Sima Yue continued to deal with the ingredients in front of her. You taught them? Does Memory Restaurant belong to you? Not really. It belongs to a friend of mine. I taught him these dishes. Later on, he opened Memory Restaurant and used these dishes. Sima Yue said. But the Memory Restaurant in Heavenly City belongs to me. Next time, when you go to Memory Restaurant to eat, say my name and it'll be free. Ha, it's really yours. Han Miao Shuang cheered happily. Next time when I go to eat, don't ask for money. The things you have there are so expensive. Chapter 645. Sima Yue smiled. Go, I won't charge you. Alright. Sima Yue thought for a while, then took out some spirit fruits and placed them in front of the two of them, saying, Eat this first, the food will be ready soon. Alright. Little junior brother, your spirit fruit is so fresh. Han Miao Shuang happily picked up the spirit fruit to eat. Little Seven didn't say anything and just took a bite of the spirit fruit. She's big sister, why do you call her little junior brother? Little Seven bit the spirit fruit and asked. Sima Yu's hand paused, and Han Miao Shuang forgot to bite the spirit fruit that was in her mouth. Little Seven, what are you talking about? I'm a man. Sima Yue said with a smile. You're not. You're a woman, not one of those stinky men. Little Seven said with certainty, those men all stink, but you smell good. You must be a woman. Little Seven won't make a mistake. Little junior brother, are you really a girl? Han Miao Shuang looked at her in surprise. Will you keep it a secret for me? Otherwise, there won't be any food left. Sima Yue admitted. Heavens, you're really a woman. The spirit fruit in Han Miao Shuang's hand fell to the ground as she looked at Sima Yue in disbelief. Seeing her wink at her, she quickly nodded. Don't worry, I won't tell anyone. Little Seven, what about you? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven. Will you always cook for me? Little Seven asked in return. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. This little fellow was threatening her. I don't have that much time to prepare food for you. Sima Yue shrugged. Just cook for me when you have time. Little Seven said. Sima Yue smiled. Since you've promised me, don't let the cat out of the bag. Brother. Seven said. What? Han Miao Shuang turned to look at Little Seven. Then it settled. Sima Yu understood what she meant and went to cook for the two of them without worry. Sima Yue quickly made lion's head and saliva chicken for the two of them. Seeing that the two of them were still hungry, she roasted the rest of the barbecued meat for them. Seeing the two pairs of green eyes, she went to make a beggar's chicken and a large portion of diving rabbit for them. Only then did the two of them barely eat enough. Sima Yu looked at the two of them rubbing their stomachs with one hand and helplessly looked at the direction of the forbidden area. It seemed like she couldn't achieve her goal of treating Han Miao Shuang to a meal tonight. "Brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds?" Little Seven asked when she saw Sima Yue staring at the forbidden grounds. Big brother has been looking over there." Little Seven said, "If Big brother wants to go, Little Seven can bring you there." "You're taking me there? Isn't the forbidden area forbidden?" Sima Yue asked. "Tiske, why can't we go there? I saw a lot of people going there." Little Seven pouted. "You saw people going in?" Han Miao Shuang asked in surprise. "Yeah, a lot of people. Often there are a few waves in a night." Little Seven said casually. "Little Seven, how do you know?" "Because I often watch here," Little Seven said, "but recently there are fewer people coming." "How did Little Seven see it?" "I often look for food here, so I saw it." Little Seven said. "Then do you know who went there?" "I don't know. Some of them went in and didn't come out. Some came out and some didn't." Little Seven said, "But I don't care who went in. But if Big Brother wants to go in, I can help you." "Little Junior Brother, do you want to go to the forbidden grounds?" Han Miao Shuang asked. "I don't want to go. I'm just curious about the forbidden grounds." Sima Yue said, "I don't know what good things there are in the forbidden grounds." Han Miao Shuang wasn't suspicious of Sima Yue's words. She smiled, "There's nothing good in the forbidden grounds." "Senior sister, you know about it?" Sima Yue asked in surprise. "Hee, I went in with Master once and saw the things inside." Han Miao Shuang said. "Are there a lot of treasures in there?" Sima Yue asked. "Those treasures aren't that rare." Han Miao Shuang said, "Some of them aren't as good as Master's." "I heard that there's an Eye of Earth in the forbidden grounds?" Sima Yue probed. "Eye of Earth? What's that?" Han Miao Shuang asked. "Senior sister, you haven't heard of it?" "I heard that many people in the sect know about it." Sima Yue asked. Han Miao Shuang shook her head. "Don't think that us three brothers have been in the inner sect for a long time. We don't know many things about the sect." "The Eye of Earth isn't in the forbidden grounds," Little Seven suddenly said. "You know? Of course, is there anything in the sect that I don't know?" Little Seven raised her little face proudly. "I often wander around the sect. I've heard a lot of things. It's just that I don't like those people, so I don't like to be with them." "You're from the sect too?" "Humph." Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue smiled, this proud little girl. "Brother, you want the Eye of Earth?" Little Seven's expression was a little strange. Seeing that Sima Yue was silent, she patted her chest and said, "Brother, if you want it, Little Seven can get it." Han Miao Shuang turned her head and looked at Little Seven. "What idea do you have?" "Why should I tell you?" Little Seven ignored her and turned to look at Sima Yue. "Brother, do you want it?" "I want it, but the Eye of Earth is definitely hidden in a very hidden place. It's also very dangerous. How can I let you go?" Sima Yue sat beside Little Seven, looking at her crystal-clear skin. She couldn't help but stretch out her hand and pinch her nose. "I'm very powerful." Little Seven slapped away Sima Yue's hand and said, "I know Little Seven is very powerful." Sima Yue said, "But you're still young, I'll think of a way myself." "Brother, what do you want the Eye of Earth for?" Little Seven asked. "My brother's health isn't good, he needs a little bit to heal." Sima Yue said. "How much is a little bit?" 8 ounces. Sima Yue said. "Only 8 ounces. Little Seven heard it and heaved a sigh of relief. "It's not even a caddy. It won't hurt the Eye of Earth." "How do you know?" Sima Yue rubbed Little Seven's head. "Of course, no one in this world knows the Eye of Earth better than me," Little Seven said proudly. "But you're not allowed to take the risk," Sima Yue said. But Little Seven didn't understand. Because you're still young. I'll think of a way myself. Little Seven saw that Sima Yue didn't believe her. She pouted unhappily. You should just stay in the sect and cultivate. Sima Yue pinched her little nose again. Little Seven turned her head away unhappily. She thought to herself, wait till I bring it to you. Let's see if you still dare to look down on me. Chapter 646. Little Junior Brother, if you need the Eye of Earth, you can try it with Master. Han Miao Shuang said, I'll ask Master. Sima Yue said, but I'm not in a hurry, there's still time to check. Little Seven snorted coldly in protest. Seeing that Little Seven was still angry, he patted her head and got up to put away the pots and pans. All right, it's getting late. Let's go back. You're right. It's time to go back. Han Miao Shuang stood up as well. All right, little guy, go back quickly. I'm not small. Little Seven snorted. Sima Yue and Han Miao Shuang prepared to return to Parting Garden. Little Seven saw them leave and followed them. Little Seven, you've been out for an entire night, right? Aren't you going back? Sima Yue asked. Let's go together. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's clothes. Together? Do you want to go back with us? Little Seven nodded. You're not from our courtyard, you can't go back with us. Han Miao Shuang said. Little Seven grabbed Sima Yue's hand and refused to let go. She was determined to go back with her. Sima Yue lowered her head and looked at the little hand that was grabbing her, then looked at Han Miao Shuang and said awkwardly, Senior sister, why don't we, up to you. Master likes you so much now, it shouldn't be a big deal to bring someone back. Han Miao Shuang saw that she was soft-hearted and couldn't be bothered. Come back with me then. Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand. When the three of them returned to the courtyard, Su Xiaoxiao was already cleaning the courtyard. Good morning, third senior brother. Su Xiaoxiao was holding a broom. Seeing them come in, she smiled and said, Did you go out to eat again last night? You even know about this? We alchemists have very sensitive noses. All of you have a fragrance that wasn't there yesterday. Su Xiao said. Who is this little child? Her name is Little Seven. She might be here in the future. Sima said, Master? He must still be sleeping. I'll look for him later. Little Seven, this is third senior brother Su Xiaoxiao. If you want to stay here in the future, you can play with him. No, it stinks. Little Seven turned her head. Stinky? Su Xiaoxiao smelled herself. She had just taken a shower. She didn't stink. But Little Seven still despised it. I haven't rested for so long, I'm going back to sleep. Han Miao Shuang yawned as she walked towards the attic. Little junior brother, is this little guy coming over or staying here? Su Xiaoxiao asked. What is it? If she's going to stay here, I'll have to clean up a room, Su Xiao said. Sima Yue looked at Little Seven and said to Su Xiao, Let me ask Master first. If Su Jin didn't want Little Seven to stay here, she couldn't force it. Okay, Master went to bed early last night. He will probably wake up early today. Su Xiaoxiao reminded him. Got it. Little Seven, let's head back. Sima Yue brought Little Seven back to the house and gave her a lot of food to eat. She let her play at the side and then started to take out the herbs and fiddle with it. Little Seven was a strange child. On one hand, she was cold towards Han Miao Shuang, but on the other hand, she was very dependent on Sima Yue. Sima Yue attributed this to her contract with the Spirit Pagoda, which had a unique attraction to spirits. Little Seven, how old are you? Sima Yue fiddled with the herbs for a while. Seeing that Little Seven was still eating, she walked over and took the food down. Little Seven saw that the food was taken away and was a little unhappy. But she still answered her question obediently. I don't know how old I am. I forgot. How old am I exactly? Little Seven knocked on her head. Forgot? Sima Yue looked at Little Seven's distressed look and subconsciously thought that she was hurt and forgot about the past. Forget it then. Look at you, you're definitely not old. Sima Yue said, but I don't know your identity. You're so powerful at such a young age. Little Seven looked at the dried meat that Sima Yue took away and said, "Little Seven, you've already eaten a lot. Be careful not to stuff your stomach. I'm hungry." Little Seven patted her stomach. Her previously round stomach had deflated again. "You're hungry again?" Sima Yue looked at her strangely. It seemed like she was really hungry. How could she eat so much? Little Seven nodded and took out another piece of ginseng. She took a bite and frowned. Then, she stuffed the ginseng into Sima Yue's hand. "Change." Sima Yue placed the dried meat in Little Seven's hand and patted her little head. "Eat. Once you're full, you can go and see my master. She must agree to let you stay. Otherwise, you'll still have to go back to where you're staying." Little Seven tilted her head and thought for a while before nodding. When it was almost noon, Sima Yue felt movement in Su Jin's room. She put down the book in her hand and said, "Master is awake. Let's go and see him." Little Seven jumped down from the chair and followed her out. Su Jin had just woken up when he felt Sima Yue coming. He didn't wait for her to knock and let her in. Seeing the 6 or 7-year-old child beside her, a trace of surprise flashed through his eyes. Why was she with this little fellow? "Master, you're up so early." I'm a bit earlier than that fellow Kong Junchul." Su Jin said, "Why did you bring this little fellow here?" "Master, this is Little Seven. We met her last night. She wants to live with us. Is that okay?" Su Jin stared straight at Little Seven. This fellow actually dared to lie to his disciple? But when he saw her hiding behind Sima Yue and threatening him with cold eyes, as if she was saying that if he didn't agree, she would eat him up, he had the intention to tease her. "Good disciple, not just anyone can live in our parting garden." After saying this, he raised his eyebrows at Little Seven. Little Seven pouted and looked like she was about to cry. She grabbed onto Sima Yue's hand even tighter. She even shrunk back, leaving only her head to look at him. "Master, Little Seven is still a child. You can't scare a child like this." Sima Yue glared at Su Jin. Little Seven proudly lifted her chin at Su Jin from behind. Su Jin was speechless. How did he scare a child? He had only said a very normal sentence, "Okay." "Master, Little Seven said that she often goes to the back of the mountain to look for food alone. There's no one to take care of her. Little Seven is still young and the back of the mountain is very dangerous. Why don't we just let her stay here? Little Seven, you won't be mischievous in the courtyard, right?" Sima Yue lowered her head to look at Little Seven. Little Seven immediately turned into a frightened child and nodded obediently. Su Jin saw that Sima Yue was so protective of her and felt a little jealous. He waved his hand to let them leave. It could be considered that he agreed with her. "Thank you, Master. Then we won't disturb you. Don't think about it." Sima Yue held Little Seven's hand and left. Little Seven turned back to look at Su Jin when she was leaving. Her face was full of pride. "Old fellow, don't lead my good disciple astray." Su Jin secretly transmitted his voice. That depends on whether I'm happy or not." Little Seven replied and then left with Sima Yue. Chapter 647. Sima Yu didn't know about their secret conversation. After taking Xiaoqi downstairs, she went to find Su Xiaoxiao and told him that she wanted to clean up a room for Xiaoqi next door. Where to put the things inside, Su Xiaoxiao immediately took the initiative to clean up the room. Sima Yue saw how enthusiastic he was and agreed to let him come along. Thus, Little Seven ate snacks at the door and watched the two of them tidy up her house. After the house was tidied up, Kong Junchul also got up. Regarding the addition of a child in the courtyard, he only said lightly, "Don't disturb my sleep in the courtyard." "Stinky." Little Seven turned her head away from him. The corners of Kong Junchul's mouth twitched. He couldn't be bothered to lower himself to the child's level, so he turned around and went into the alchemy room. Sima Yue chuckled in the house. This little brat always called men stinky. She really despised them. She decorated the room in pink, and even the bedspread was pink. When Little Seven saw this, her lips twitched when she wasn't paying attention. She waved at Little Seven and Little Seven walked over. She used her oily hands to wipe the clean bedsheets, and the clean bedsheets were stained. Seeing her masterpiece, she grinned. Sima Yue shook her head. You don't like this color? Little Seven nodded. What color do you like? Little Seven pointed at her clothes. The azure color was just right. Sima Yue patted her head and changed all the pink things. She changed the bedsheets and bedspread to azure blue. Only then did Little Seven smile happily. After cleaning up, Sima Yue sat by the bed and pulled Little Seven to sit beside her. She said, Little Seven, you have to be good when you're in the courtyard. Senior brothers and senior sisters are used to being quiet. We can't disturb them, okay? Little Seven nodded. There's a formation at the entrance of the courtyard. I'll teach you how to get out in a while. In the future, you won't need anyone to bring you out. I know that you often stay outside for a few days at a time. Take this. If you can't come back, you have to tell me, okay? She placed a mother-son stone in Little Seven's hand. Little Seven looked at the mother-son stone and didn't know how to use it. Sima Yue taught her patiently. Do you know how to find me? Sima Yue asked. Little Seven nodded happily. She kept the mother-son stone in her space. Sima Yue saw that she wasn't wearing a space ring and thought that she had other space containers. Little Seven, I'm going to concoct pills. Be good and play in the house. Sima Yue said as she took out some food and placed it on the table. Little Seven became obedient when he saw the food. Kid, don't drink so much. Although she said that, she still took out a few jars of wine and then went to refine pills. Little Seven was sitting in the house eating when Su Jin swaggered in. Little Seven glanced at him and continued to eat. Little Yu is so good to you, I haven't eaten these before. Su Jin walked over and consciously picked up the snacks on the table. Old fellow, say it. Why are you following my precious disciple? Try calling me old fellow again. Little Seven opened her mouth, revealing 2 small canine teeth as she threatened. Even if you wear the clothes of a child, it can't hide your soul that has lived for thousands of years. Su Jin wouldn't be frightened by her and cruelly exposed her shortcomings. Little Yu thinks that it's enough that I'm a child. Little Seven didn't argue with him. You're pretending to be a child to trick people. Be careful that I don't expose you. Su Jin said fiercely. I've always been like this. Little Seven shrugged with an expression that said, go ahead and say it. You came to the academy with such fanfare. Aren't you afraid that people will eat you? There have been quite a few people recently. Su Jin leaned on the chair and took a bite of a spirit fruit. That depends on whether they have the ability. Little Seven sneered. That's true. Those who have thoughts about you won't be able to survive. You can take care of them in one bite. Su Jin wasn't worried about this fellow at all. Little Seven rolled her eyes at him. She took out a snow-white meat and threw it to Su Jin. It looked a bit like a meat mushroom. He wants this. Little Seven said. Su Jin looked at such a big thing and said, you can't even bear to part with a fingernail. Now you're giving this much to him? You're really willing to part with it? I like it. Little Seven snorted. You're so good to my precious disciple and even gave him so much of this. Tell me, what's your motive? Su Jin put away the thing. Why should I tell you? You don't want to live here anymore? Su Jin raised an eyebrow. Little Seven stared at him for a while before compromising. He can help me evolve. Help you evolve? You haven't evolved in a long time, right? Su Jin said. Little Seven nodded with a serious expression. It had been a long time since her last evolution. He's a human. How can he help you evolve? You won't eat him, right? Su Jin looked at her cautiously. If she really wanted to eat Yue, he wouldn't agree no matter what. I'm not eating him. I just feel very comfortable by his side. Little Seven said. This can help you evolve? Little Seven shook her head. Then why do you say that he can help you evolve? Intuition. Little Seven said. Intuition tells me that I can evolve by his side. I don't want him to know my identity right now. If you let it slip, I'll scratch your face and disfigure you. Su Jin touched his face. I don't talk to people who are jealous of my beauty. After saying this, he stood up and left. Little Seven looked outside in a daze for a while before continuing to eat the food on the table. When Sima Yue came back from refining pills, she saw that little Seven was still eating at the table. She walked over and carried her down, saying, "You haven't been eating the entire time, right?" Little Seven nodded. "You're not full?" "It's delicious." Little Seven raised her head and smiled. These things were much better than the herbs she ate. Sima Yue took out a handkerchief to wipe the oil from the corner of her mouth, saying, "You can't keep eating even if it's delicious. What if you get a stomachache?" Although little Seven still wanted to eat, she didn't want to make her unhappy. "Yue, come up." Su Jin shouted from his room. "Do you want to come with me?" Sima Yue asked. Little Seven came out from her embrace and shook her head. "Then you stay here. I'll go up and see what Master wants." She pinched little Seven's little nose and said. She came to Su Jin's room and saw him lying on the chair, asking, "Master, you're looking for me?" "I heard that you're looking for the eye of the earth?" Su Jin directly asked. Sima Yue was stunned. She didn't know how he knew. But Ge Lang and the others also knew that she was looking for it, so it wasn't surprising that he knew. She admitted. Su Jin was very satisfied with her honesty. He took out a box and threw it in front of her, saying, "Someone gave it to you." Sima Yue caught the box and opened it. She saw a palm-sized white meat inside. "This is the eye of the earth," Su Jin said calmly. Sima Yue almost forgot to breathe. Chapter 648. It was rare for Sima Yue to be dumbfounded. She was completely stunned. "What are you waiting for? Isn't this what you want?" Su Jin asked. "Master, where did you get this? Is that true?" Sima Yue held the earth's eye and could not react in time. Wasn't the eye of the earth the treasure of the academy? Didn't they say that many people were eyeing this thing? Didn't they say that it was very hard to obtain? Why did she get it so easily? This couldn't be fake, right? Could it be that Su Jin used this thing to scare her? Seeing Sima Yue's suspicious gaze, Su Jin's eyelids twitched. This little brat actually didn't believe him. "What I gave you is naturally real." Su Jin saw that Sima Yue didn't believe him and was still pretending to be innocent and wanted to kick her. After hearing his promise, Sima Yue happily kept the earth's eye. "Master, where did you get this thing?" She looked at Su Jin with a smile, almost going to massage his legs and shoulders like a lackey. "Someone gave it to me," Su Jin said. "Who gave it to you?" Sima Yue asked. "It's so expensive. Not just anyone can give it to you. Should we thank them?" "What's there to thank? That guy was completely willing." Su Jin said. "That's not good, is it? No matter what, he's still an important figure in the academy. How can we just take his things?" "Don't worry about her," Su Jin said impatiently. "All right then." Sima Yue smiled. "All right, you can leave." Su Jin chased him away. Sima Yue stood still. "Anything else?" "Master, do you know little Seven's identity?" Sima Yue hesitated and asked. "What is it?" "Little Seven looks like a little girl of a few years old, but her strength is stronger than mine. I once suspected that she was a transformed divine beast, but I didn't feel the aura of a divine beast from her body. Since he is a student of the school, I think Master should know." Sima Yue said. "Yes, I do know." Su Jin said. "Then whose disciple is she under? Why would they often wander around the mountain range? Why is he so powerful? Don't worry about her identity, just stay with her like this. He would know when it was time to know. That's right, that guy can't eat his fill. Give him more food, don't worry about him bursting to death." Su Jin said. "All right, you may leave." "Oh, all right then." She quickly went back. Although Su Jin didn't say little Seven's identity, since she said there was no problem, then there really wasn't a problem. Although she found little Seven very likable, she was still guessing her identity in her heart. Previously, she thought that if she wasn't good, then she would have to spend some time with her to see her temperament. Now that Su Jin said there was no problem, she could save this step. Thinking of little Seven, she also thought of little Tuesday. They were both gifted children. Whenever she saw little Seven, she would think of little Two from time to time. This was also one of the reasons why she liked Little Seven. When she returned to the house, Little Seven had already finished eating the food on the table. When she saw Sima Yue come in, she looked at her eagerly. You finished eating again. You can actually eat more than my little Meng. Sima Yue couldn't help but sigh. Who is little Meng? Little Seven asked curiously. There was actually someone who could eat as much as her? My contract beast. Sima Yue said, she's quite similar to you. She's also a little doll. I don't like her. Little Seven pouted. Little Seven, are you going to follow me in the future? Sima Yue suddenly asked. Little Seven nodded. If you want to follow me, then you have to accept the people around me. You don't have to like them, but you can't go against them. I don't like the people around me being unfriendly. If you can't do that, then you can't follow me. Sima Yue said solemnly. All right. Little Seven said helplessly, I promise I won't eat them. Sima Yue was amused by her words. She stretched out her hand and poked her forehead. She smiled and said, Why do you always say that you won't eat anything? Bad people should be eaten. Little Seven snorted and said, Many people who had ideas about me were eaten by me. But Grandpa doesn't let me eat them. But those people are so annoying. I really want to eat them, but I can't. Sigh, I'm so worried. Little Seven placed her hands on the table and looked conflicted. Sima Yue found it funny. Suddenly, her expression changed. She said to Little Seven, You stay here. I'll go out for a while. I'll go too. Little Seven stood up immediately. She seemed to want to go wherever Yue went. Little Seven, I'm going out to do something. I might fight with others. Be careful not to hurt you. Sima Yue said. Although I don't like fighting, others can't hurt me. Little Seven waved her little fist. Sima Yue saw her like that. Thinking that her martial arts were stronger than her, she nodded and took her out. When they went out, Su Jin shouted from upstairs, Xiao Xiao, someone bullied your little junior brother. What? Xiao Xiao was cleaning up the leftovers from his alchemy. When he heard this, he threw his things down and came out. Master, who dares to bully little junior brother? Ga! Han Miao Shuang's door opened. A certain someone stood at the door with his hands on his hips. He shouted, Who dares to bully my little Yu Yu? They had only known each other for a day and this little junior brother had become little Yu Yu. You'll know when you see it. Su Jin said lazily. All right, let's go take a look. Han Miao Shuang stepped out and pulled Su Xiaozhao's clothes out of the courtyard. Sima Yue and Little Seven ran towards Sima Yuming's place. Before they arrived, they heard a commotion coming from the courtyard. Along with it, there were sounds of fighting and yelling. Hearing the yelling from inside, she quickened her pace and pushed open the door to enter. Beat them to death. Go. Oh, I told you to bow down earlier, but you didn't listen. Now you're being beaten? You want to beat us? You're not qualified. Fatty Chu punched the other party's face. Fatty, beat them up. Beat them up hard. Bei Gongtang stood at the side of the courtyard and shouted. What's so great about the Thunderbolt team? They dare to come to our place and behave atrociously. Beat them up. You dare to beat us up? Do you know the consequences of provoking us? Humph, I don't care if you're a Thunderbolt or not. Today we'll beat you up. Brothers, let's go together. This year's new students must teach them a lesson. Sima Yue entered and saw the chaotic situation. Whoosh, a person was thrown out by Fatty Chu, who happened to be flying towards Sima Yu's direction. She lifted her clothes and leaped up, kicking the person who was flying towards her back, smashing into the members of the Thunderbolt team. The chaotic situation calmed down because of this. Chapter 649. Everyone in the courtyard looked towards Sima Yue. When they saw her, the expressions of the Thunderbolt Society members changed drastically. Some of them were puzzled while Fatty Chu and the rest were all very happy. Yue, you're here. Fatty Chu threw the person in his hand out and smiled at Sima Yue. You're Sima Yue? A black-clothed man with facial paralysis didn't make a move earlier. Now that he saw Sima Yue, he asked coldly, Who are you? Sima Yue walked over and kicked the person who was blocking her way. Bien Lejing. Bien Lejing crossed his arms and stared at Sima Yue coldly. Who is Bien Lejing? Sima Yue looked at Bei Gongtang, one of the vice leaders of the Thunderbolt Society. He's ranked 100 on the billboard. Bei Gongtang said, "Oh, so he's one of the vice captains?" Sima Yue nodded. "I've never heard of him. However, you really do look similar to the people in your club. I wonder how the people who were beaten up 2 days ago are doing now?" When she saw Shui Rong and Ma Bojian, she stepped forward and cupped her hands in greeting. She smiled and asked, "Why are you here?" "I heard that these people are here. I was afraid that they would cause trouble for your friend, so I came to check on the situation. I didn't think that they would actually fight." Shui Rong said. "What's going on?" Sima Yue looked at the crowd. "They came to find trouble with us and wanted us to join their society. If we didn't join the society, they would beat us into joining." Wei Ziqi said. "Let you guys join?" Sima Yue was stunned. She then turned to look at Bien Lejing. "Are you guys out of your minds? They want us to join the group so that the group can take care of us." Fatty Chu said, "They said it themselves. There are people who are forced to join the club?" Sima Yue looked at the members of Thunderbolt Club. The Thunderbolt Society is the #1 society. Letting you in is giving you face. You refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. You even injured our people. How should we settle today's matter?" Bien Lejing looked at her. "What else can we do? If you know what's good for you, scram. Otherwise, I'll beat you until you scram." Sima Yue said. "Who do you think you are? How dare you order us around?" The members of the Thunderbolt Club stood up and pointed at Sima Yue. "I'm not ordering you guys. I'm asking you guys to leave. What, could it be that you guys don't want to leave by yourselves, but rather be chased out by us?" Bei Gongtang said. "If you don't join a society, it will be very difficult for you to gain a foothold in the inner yard. You've offended us. Other than us, which society would dare to accept you? If it weren't for the fact that you're all professionals, do you think you'd still be here?" A man said, "Today's invitation is your chance. I don't want this kind of opportunity." Ma Bojian said, "Today, we came here to do something. Yue bro, are your friends willing to join our club?" "Join your club?" "That's right." Shui Rong said, "We want to ask you, are you willing to join our Cliff Mountain Club?" "Shui Rong, is your Cliff Mountain going to fight with our Thunderbolt Club?" Bien Lejing looked at Shui Rong. "So what?" Shui Rong said indifferently, "Bien Lejing, you don't think that my Cliff Mountain is really afraid of you, do you? When your Cliff Mountain met our Thunderbolt Club, which time didn't you get beaten up? You still want to compete with us? You're really whimsical." The Thunderbolt Club members finished laughing. "Now I wonder who's the one who got beaten up?" Sima Yue glanced at them. "We won't join your club. If you don't want to be beaten up too badly today, get out of here." Sima Yoshi shouted. The faces of the Thunderbolt Club members were ugly, but when they saw that Ma Bojian brought more people, they had to leave unwillingly. When the Thunderbolt Club members left, Ma Bojian waved his hand and the Cliff Mountain Club members also left. "Yue, why are you here?" Sima Yulin asked. "I know that the Thunderbolt Club members came to trouble you, so I came. I thought you would suffer, but I didn't expect Shui Rong to bring people over." Sima Yue waved her hand, and a few scarlet bees flew down from the roof, circled around and flew away. Bei Gongtang and the others knew that since the last time they left, she had sent scarlet bees to follow them. "Little junior brother, who dares to bully you? We're here to help you." Han Miao Shuang came in from the outside and didn't see anyone bullying Sima Yue. She was stunned and asked, "Little junior brother, where are the people who bullied you?" "They were beaten up by Cliff Mountain and left." Sima Yue replied. "Senior sister, third senior brother, why are you here?" "Master said that someone bullied you, so we ran over to see. Since it's okay now, Xiao will go back." After speaking, the two left again. "Yue, your master, senior sister and senior brother are very concerned about you. They're very nice people." Sima Yue said, "Why are you all here?" They just came out of closed-door cultivation. I heard about your situation and came to ask Bei Gong and the others. I didn't expect that the Thunderbolt Club members would come looking for me not long after I came back. Yue, who's this little girl? She's called Little Seven from our courtyard. Sima Yue said. Everyone, let's go back to the house first. Sima Yuran said. That's true, let's not stand here. Vice Leader Ma, Miss Shui, please come in. Please. A group of people entered the house. Fortunately, the rooms here were bigger, otherwise, they wouldn't be able to stand with so many people. Thank you for helping us out today, but I'm afraid that the Thunderbolt Club will find trouble with you. Sima Yuqi cupped his hands in thanks to Ma Bo Jian. We've always been at odds with the Thunderbolt Club. This matter doesn't make a difference. Shui Rong said, but what we said before is true. Are you willing to join our team? Everyone hesitated. That Bian Lezheng usually doesn't say anything good, but today he said something right. In the inner sect, if you don't join a team, your life will be very difficult in the future. Shui Rong said, the other freshmen have joined various teams in the past few months, and now you're the only ones who haven't. But because of the conflict with the Thunderbolt Club, other teams don't dare to accept you. Then aren't you afraid of Cliff Mountain? We've always been at odds with them. With or without you, this result won't change. Shui Rong shrugged. Why must the inner sect join a team? Sima Yue never understood this question. Because the sect's cultivation resources are limited. If you want to obtain resources in a competitive environment, the best way is for everyone to work together. Over time, the cultivation resources will be divided by the teams. Those who are unwilling to join will have to compete with so many teams with their own strength. This possibility is too small. Chapter 650. It was only then that Sima Yu understood. She saw that everyone's expressions seemed to be unwilling, so joining the team was probably not a good choice. Thank you for your invitation, Miss Shui and Cliff Mountain. However, we have been in the inner courtyard for so long and have yet to join a society, so we have to reconsider this matter. Can we give you an answer in a few days? Sima Yuming said. All right, then we'll head back first. Once you've made up your mind, just go to Rocky Mountain and find us. Shui Rong stood up and saluted everyone before leaving with Ma Bojian. You guys don't want to join the club, Sima Yue said firmly. That's right. That's why we haven't joined any societies even though we've been in the inner courtyard for so long. Wei Ziqi said, what's wrong with joining a club? We heard from the new students that they would be bullied by the older students after entering the club. They would do more work and get less points. Points? What's that? Yue, you've been in the inner courtyard for a few days, how come you still don't know anything? Fatty Chu teased. Points are what we usually use for cultivation. Bei Gong Tang explained, no matter what we want to use, we have to use points to exchange for it. For example, if we use the cultivation pagoda now, 1 point a day, and 100 points can only be used to cultivate for 100 days. If we want to take medicinal ingredients from the academy, we also need to use points to exchange for them. Yang Fei said, then how do I get the points? Every student gets 5 points every month, and the rest depends on contribution. The more contributions one made, the more points one would receive. For example, concocting pills, refining tools, or catching spirit beasts for the academy. So if we join a club, we'll earn points together, but we won't be able to get much in the end? Sima Yue asked. Everyone nodded. I don't like that. Sima Yue said. It's because we saw that those teams were like this that we never joined. Sima Yulin said. Then don't join them, Sima Yue said. Ma Bo Jian and his people are nice, I don't think they will make things difficult for you. As for the other clubs, we're not even afraid of the Thunderbolt, so why should we be afraid of them? Yue, why don't we create our own club? Fatty Chu suddenly had an idea. Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard this. Yeah, we can also form our own club. Sima Yulu said, in any case, we have so many people, and our strength is stronger than others. Furthermore, we have alchemists, armament masters, beast tamers, array masters. We can definitely form our own team. It's possible. Sima Yulin nodded. Third bro, what do you think? Sima Yu asked. Sima Yu ran. Actually, we're not much different from a team right now. Everyone cultivates together and accepts missions together. Sima Yu ran said, the only thing we're lacking is a name. Hee hee, why don't we set up a club? Fatty Chu said, I'll be in charge of refining armaments. I'm in charge of beast taming. I'll be in charge of the formation. Since everyone agrees, then it's decided. Sima Yulu said. Sima Yue had been silent the whole time. She smiled when she saw how excited they were. But how are we going to set up this club? Is it troublesome? It's not troublesome at all. We just have to go to the teacher in charge of the club and file it. Wei Ziqi said, set the time to set up the club, name the club, leader's name and the number of people in the beginning. We just have to confirm these. It's that simple? It's that simple. So what we have to do now is to think of a good name for the club and who will be the leader. We just have to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Yu, why don't you be the leader? Fatty Chu said. Sima Yue shook her head, saying, no, anyone can be the leader. I don't want to. But troublesome. Sima Yue said disdainfully, there will be a lot of things to do if I'm the leader. I don't want to deal with these things. Also, I'm not good at it. I'll just be a member. Yu, you can be the leader in name. Leave the things to others. Wei Ziqi said. Sima Yue still shook her head. No, I think it's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. Since Fifth Bro doesn't want to, don't force her. Don't we know her personality? I think she's right as well. It's best if Big Bro, Yulin or Ziqi is the leader. The others can be vice leaders as well. That's true. This guy is the laziest. Bei Gongtang looked at Sima Yue and smiled. Actually, it doesn't matter who is the leader. We're all so familiar with each other. There's no need to say who's the leader. Sima Yulu said, but it's like this now. In the future, when others join in, we'll need to manage. So we still need the leader and vice leader to lead everyone. I think Big Bro Yu Qi should be the leader. Ouyang Fei said, Yu Lin and Ziqi will be vice leaders. I agree. Sima Yue was the first to express her opinion. We agree as well. The minority obeys the majority. There are many who agree, so it's decided. Sima Yu Qi and Sima Yu Lin had yet to speak when they were pushed to the position of leader and vice leader. Now that the leader has been decided, let's discuss the name of the club. Fatty Chu said, what should we be called? It definitely has to be more domineering than Thunderbolt. Sima Yulu said. Thunderbolt Club, how about that? Wei Ziqi voiced his opinion. Thunderbolt? Not bad, domineering. Okay. Anyway, I can't think of a good name. I think it's not bad too. Hee hee, let's call it that. Everyone wasn't good at coming up with names. Thunderbolt was indeed domineering, so they were too lazy to think of anything else. Now we just need to confirm the number of people in the beginning. Is it just the few of us? Everyone in the sect has joined a club? Sima Yu asked. Not necessarily. Sima Yu Lin said, some people have a temper. There are also people who haven't joined a club. Some clubs can't be maintained and after disbanding, the remaining people might not have joined other clubs. There are also people in the top 50 of the billboard who haven't joined a club because they have resources provided by the sect. We'll talk about those people later. For now, it's just the 10 of us. Sima Yue said. Little Seven was originally nestled in her embrace. When she heard the number, she snorted coldly. Sima Yue lowered her head and saw Little Seven pouting. She laughed and stretched out her hand to ruffle her hair, saying, 11. Our Little Seven is also one. Which department does Little Seven belong to? Sima Yulin looked at Little Seven and felt that she was a little strange. Little Seven turned her head to the side. Let's write the alchemy department. Sima Yue said, Little Seven, you'll be part of our team in the future? Yue, what about Little Two? When Sima Yue heard Little Two's name, the smile on her face slowly disappeared. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.